Chapter 558. Naruto brought Fu to the real campus of the Mercenary University using the Flying Thunder God technique. It was a campus built in a 1:1 ratio with the virtual campus. The combat department and non-combat department buildings were built on the east and west sides of the campus. In the middle of the campus was a public field. The most prominent buildings in the middle of the campus were the two obelisks for the top student ranking and the bottom student ranking. At this time, when Naruto and Fuku appeared on the field, the students of the combat department were practicing armed armor. When Fu saw the mechanical armor, she rushed over and hugged the mech without caring about her image. The person inside the mech was dumbfounded. However, the student system quickly revealed Fu's identity. The boy did not dare to move as he was afraid that he would hurt Fu. However, the next moment, Fu lifted the entire mech with one hand. Wow! It's so light. Is this the new series ZR01? The boy inside finally spoke. Senior, don't be like that. Others are watching. Only then did Fu notice that there were many people on the campus and many floating cameras staring at her. The surprise on Fu's face turned into embarrassment. Sorry. I was too excited just now. At this moment, a group of people with wings flew over from the sky. The girl in the lead shouted at Fu, "Sister Fu, I'm here to pick you up." Fu raised her head and the eagerness in her eyes intensified. Dragon Hawk. Wow. I want one too. That person landed and Fu pounced on him, hugging his wings and rubbing them repeatedly. The girl was embarrassed. Don't touch. Ah. The sense of touch is shared. Oh. Stop. The girl felt that she was going to make a fool of herself. She quickly made a hand seal and dispelled the ghost jellyfish technique. The brown dragonhawk detached from the girl's back. Naruto watched from the side with a smile. In fact, it was not because Fu did not work hard that she was ranked third. It was because she could not complete many practical courses and could not get any credits. After the girl dispelled the ghost jellyfish technique, Fu turned around and ran to someone else. Who knows how to use metal armor under the ghost jellyfish technique? Fu's eyes lit up. However, the boy who was lifted up by Fu suddenly said, "Let me demonstrate." Fu turned around and saw the boy dispelling the metal armor. A person walked out of the exoskeleton armor. It was an ordinary-looking boy. Her face was still slightly red. Her facial features were regular, and her skin was lighter than Fu's, which was also the color of wheat. Spirit Communication Technique. A golden twin-winged tiger appeared beside the boy. Judging from its age, this twin-winged tiger was still a cub and was only 2 meters tall. Next was the Ghost Germ Technique. The boy's body fused with the twin-winged tiger. They fused together to form a centaur, which should be called a centaur tiger. The winged tiger's original wings were still on the tiger's back. When it spread its wings, it looked imposing. Then, the metal suit changed its shape and covered the boy's upper body while the lower body was attached to the tiger's body, protecting the tiger's back. Wow! So cool. I'm going to become a fan of the two-winged tiger. Fu ran over and touched it again. The boy was so excited that he summoned his weapon as well. It was a pike that could rotate. This time, he looked even more mighty and extraordinary. How about I take you for a spin in the sky? Fu was a tomboy. If she was a normal girl, she would be more reserved even if she was excited. Fu was different. She stepped forward and rode on it. Then, the two of them flew into the sky. The girls who came to welcome them were left hanging on the spot. Who was that guy carrying Fu's sister? The girl in the lead asked with a dark expression. Everyone else looked at the sky. Everyone had the student system. Even if they didn't know, the system would show them the data, so there was no need to answer. Naruto was also watching from the side. The smile on his face was very benevolent. In fact, he could use the ghost sprite technique without removing the metal suit. The boy did this because he wanted to show off in front of Fu. It's good to be young. Naruto's exclamation finally woke everyone up from their shock. They hurriedly lined up and saluted Naruto. "Greetings, headmaster." Naruto smiled. "Those who need to train, train." Those who need to rest, rest. Don't mind me. Everyone didn't notice Naruto's matter. It wasn't the students' fault. It was mainly because Naruto changed the school's notification settings. In the past, if Naruto appeared, the school system would broadcast it. But later, Naruto found that although his face was full, he couldn't see the student's true face. It wasn't suitable for a surprise inspection. So, Naruto changed it to a shielding setting. So he inadvertently ate a lot of dog food. School notification: Student Yu Gao requests a call. Yu Gao. Naruto picked up the call. Yu Gao sent a live video link. Headmaster, are these people without ID cards tourists? The video showed the villagers of Takigakure. No, they're new residents of the snow country. Yu Gao, do you have any classes today? Do you want me to give you an assistance task? Although it was an inquiry, Yu Gao heard the task prompt before she could answer. Exclusive task: assist Takigakure's village head to complete the ID card registration. Task reward: 10 credit points. By the way, Yu Gao Fu came to the snow country. If you want to keep the second place, you need to work hard. After that, Naruto hung up the phone. Yu Gao was happy about the points pie that fell from the sky, but when she heard that Fu came, her face turned black. Fu came. The second place will be difficult. Mercenary Academy Campus. Fortunately, Fu didn't go crazy and came back after a few laps in the sky. She was a little confused. What should I choose? Dragon Eagle or Twin Wing Tiger? Hearing Fu's words, the girls who came to greet Fu turned green. They came to Fu to join a club. Dragon Eagle Faction Club. The so-called Dragon Eagle Faction is a club formed by combining the students of Dragon Eagle. Similarly, the Twin Wing Tiger Faction also has its own club. But although they were unhappy, the girls didn't urge Fu. In the eyes of the students of Mercenary Academy, finding a ninja beast you like is a very important thing. Headmaster, which one should I choose? Fu asked Naruto for help. The girls were nervous. Also nervous was the boy who took Fu to play in the sky. In their view, the headmaster's words are likely to be decisive. Dragon Eagle or Twin Wing Tiger? Naruto smiled. He had this kind of dilemma too. If you really can't choose and don't know which one to choose, then just raise one of both. Both Dragon Eagle and Wing Tiger cost 1,000 credits. Prepare 2,000 credits for both of them. Silence. Silence. Although that's what he said, no one in Mercenary Academy really did that. That was because he didn't even have enough credits to raise one. The armor needs credits, the armor needs to be upgraded, the armor needs to be equipped with weapons, and so on. There is also the housing problem. The school provides a student dormitory. It is only for use during school. After graduation, even if you don't want to sleep on the street, you have to save money. After that, there is marriage and children. Simply put, in the snow country, credits are money. It is even more important than money. Some things can't be bought with money, but credits can. But Fu's eyes lit up. Good idea. Why didn't I think of it? I decided. I want to raise 2. Chapter 559. Woodleaf. Naruto's office. Six Dame Sama Naruto and Kakashi Hatake were in a daze at this time. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Messenger. Kakashi returned to his senses and looked in the direction of the sound. On the windowsill of Naruto's office, Woodleaf's messenger eagle, which was used to deliver information, was chirping at him. Where did this information come from? To be honest, Kakashi was most afraid of receiving news at this time. Because every time it means trouble comes to him. But even if he didn't want to, Kakashi took down the scroll. If it was bad news, then even if he didn't read it, it would have already happened. Besides, maybe it's good news? With a trace of luck, Kakashi opened the scroll. Kakashi's sleepy face suddenly became stiff. His brows immediately furrowed. The more he thought about it, the more his brows furrowed. In the end, his brows were twisted into a knot. Jiraiya suddenly appeared in Naruto's office. He came in through the window. Jumping through Naruto's office window, he was the only one in Woodleaf who could do this kind of thing. What's wrong? Your expression makes me feel like you just pooped your pants. Jiraiya joked. His intention was good. For example, he wanted to ease the atmosphere when he was nervous. Kakashi didn't speak and threw the scroll to Jiraiya. Intelligent scroll. All the ninjas of Takigakure suddenly disappeared. Scene characteristics. No traces of fighting found, many kitchens didn't cease fire, half of the food was cooked. No traces of a group leaving the village were found. Jiraiya's brows also wrinkled. Kakashi crossed his hands and propped his forehead on the table. He was thinking. Soon, another messenger eagle came. Jiraiya took down the scroll and read it. The news from Sannin is also about the sudden disappearance of the Takigakure villagers. Kakashi closed his eyes. I just hope. This matter has nothing to do with Kumogakure. Jiraiya threw the scroll on the table. Cheer up, it's not a big deal. I didn't expect Takigakure to join us. Well, I'll take the sealing team to the Sanbai. Kakashi raised his head, and the worry on his face eased a lot. That's good. In addition, I'll increase the negotiations with the Mist. Try to win them over. Jiraiya's face showed a look of contempt. What's there to think about this kind of thing? 3 years ago, the Kumogakure invaded the Mist and took away one of the 7 swords, Sharingan and Byakugan. They didn't even dare to take revenge, Kakashi replied. Byakugan belongs to Konoha. Kakashi's meaning was simple. The Byakugan belonged to Woodleaf. The Mist's Byakugan represented the hatred between Woodleaf and the Mist. However, Woodleaf didn't pursue the matter and even took the initiative to form an alliance with the Mist. To put it simply, he was laughing at himself. He was mocking Jiraiya. What's the point of talking about others when he didn't even get his revenge? In front of the general trend, interests are far greater than hatred. No matter how big the enemy is, it's not impossible to let it go. Otherwise, if the Mist and Kumogakure form an alliance, what awaits Woodleaf is an immeasurable loss. Woodleaf may not be able to bear it. It's destruction. Jiraiya stared at Kakashi. Noisy. He jumped out of the window without looking back. Kakashi looked at Jiraiya's departing figure. Jiraiya's long hair fluttered behind him. This made Kakashi think of another guy with long hair. He muttered to himself, if Naruto didn't leave, would Woodleaf be more relaxed now? But then he shook his head. He felt that there was no reason to restrain Naruto. Ninja's path? Family honor? Or to win the respect of others? At the same time, Naruto was also discussing the Sanbai with Obito. The Akatsuki obtained information about the Sanbai. Naruto asked, is the information reliable? According to the information Obito found, a place called Mountain Wind was attacked by a ninja beast a week ago. More than half of the villagers were killed or injured. According to witnesses, it was a fierce tortoise bigger than a house. Its biggest feature was that it had 3 tails. A tortoise with 3 tails. These 2 features fit the Sanbai perfectly. Obito said, the information was collected by Uchiha Itachi. According to the traces left at the scene, it was indeed done by the Sanbai. Naruto smirked. Very well, then leave the Sanbai to me. Naruto has swallowed 8 Biju's chakra, plus Sanbai. 9 Biju's chakra is amazing. Obito hesitated. Actually, this matter can be left to the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki didn't participate in the capture of the Nibi human pillar force and the Nanbai human pillar force. As a result, I directly took it out. Now that guy is suspicious of me. Naruto raised his eyebrows unhappily. There was such a guy in the Akatsuki. Naruto wanted to kill Zetsu. Naruto also believed that he could do it with his current strength. Even if Zetsu had a special immortal attribute and couldn't kill Naruto, he had a way to seal him. But the problem was that once Zetsu died, the Akatsuki would lose its most powerful intelligence network. White Zetsu was a super soldier made by Otsutsuki Kagaya with infinite Tsukuyomi. The only one who could control them was Kagaya Otsutsuki and Black Zetsu, who was born in her consciousness. unless Naruto became the Jubi. For various reasons, Zetsu couldn't be moved yet. Even if he wanted to move, he had to wait until Orochimaru died. Obito saw that Naruto didn't speak and continued, "If you give the Sanbai to me, it will be even harder to explain." Since he couldn't kill him now, it was best not to let him notice. Otherwise, if he joined forces with Orochimaru, it wouldn't be fun. "That's fine. I'll leave the Sanbai to the Akatsuki. By the way, let Zetsu continue to look for Orochimaru. The Akatsuki's pursuit of Orochimaru can't be stopped. It must be carried out." He ended the call with Obito. Naruto lay on the sofa for a long time without saying anything. Naruto also admired Orochimaru's ability to hide. 2 years ago, Hirako completed the complete integration of the Underground Exchange. With the Underground Exchange's intelligence network, even how many times a daimyo went to the toilet and how many minutes they spent in the toilet can be found. But Orochimaru's information, nothing was found. During this period, the Akatsuki's intelligence network has been searching. That is, all the White Zetsu led by Zetsu. How strong is the White Zetsu's intelligence network? As long as there are plants, as long as the roots of the plants are entangled together, Zetsu can infiltrate. Where there are people above ground, there is the Underground Exchange's intelligence network. Where there are plants underground, there is the White Zetsu's intelligence network. Also, there is Naruto's satellite in the sky. The satellite electronic camera was installed last year. Although the effect is not ideal, it can be regarded as a great help. But even so, they couldn't find Orochimaru. "Hide, when you feel that you are my opponent, you should jump out. I hope you won't let me down at that time." Chapter 560. Snow Country, the living room of the Great Snow Mountain Research Institute. Naruto, Tsunade, Hinata, and Tubaru were enjoying afternoon tea. For Tubaru, Naruto originally wanted to transplant a pair of eyes for her. But he didn't expect that Tubaru's eye disease was not related to her eyes, but to her brain development. Naruto couldn't do anything about it. In the end, he could only upgrade Dolphin's external equipment. "Tubaru, I don't know how Shizun is doing." Tsunade looked at the teacup and whispered. Tubaru heard someone call her name and looked at Tsunade with the floating camera. "Who is this Shizun that Sister Tsunade is talking about?" Tsunade was stunned. Tsunade said that Tubaru was a pig, but she forgot that there was a little girl in front of her who was also called Tubaru. When she was thinking about how to answer, Naruto said, "A young lady with a bad temper and early menopause." Tsunade rolled her eyes at Naruto. "You're a big boy, don't you feel ashamed to hold a grudge until now?" Naruto curled his lips. He will remember Shizun's prank on his hair for a lifetime. "Tsunade-san, if you're worried about Shizun, just bring her here." Of course, she's not allowed to live in the snow country. In the past 2 years, after the Underground Exchange was incorporated by Naruto, Naruto also checked Shizun's information. After Tsunade left the Land of Demons, Shizun stayed in the Land of Demons. Moreover, she was already married and had children. Tsunade rolled her eyes at Naruto again. "She's already married, what's the point of bringing her here? Isn't that disturbing her life?" Naruto didn't care and said, "Then bring the whole family here. The snow country is such a big place, it's not a big deal to accommodate one person." When she said that, Tsunade thought of the villagers of Takigakure who had just moved in. Only Naruto could think of such a thing and do it. Tsunade was a little excited. He asked, "Is the Land of Ghosts safe recently?" Naruto laughed a little. "I knew you must be worried. In terms of security, the Land of Demons has always been a neutral country. There are no ninjas in the village, so ordinary wars shouldn't affect them." Ordinary wars wouldn't affect them, but it was hard to say if they weren't ordinary wars. For example, natural disasters, or the demon lord that the witches of the Land of Demons were guarding, or Yomi, who had come to unseal the demon lord. Calculating the time, the incident in the country of ghosts was about to happen. "Sister Tsunade, you've been to the Land of Demons. have you seen the witches of the land of demons? I heard that the witches of the land of ghosts can predict the life and death of people. Tsunade replied, I went to the land of demons at that time to hide my identity. I couldn't even hide. Who would want to see her? Indeed, a fugitive running in front of a public figure was tantamount to an old man hanging himself. Then, are the rumors about the witch true? I heard that the witches of the land of demons sealed a demon. Tsunade shook her head and said, I don't know. If it's true, it should be recorded in the wood leaf file, but that kind of high-authority document should only be read by Naruto. Naruto continued to look at Tsunade. Tsunade took a sip of tea and saw Naruto staring at her impatiently. What are you looking at me for? Although I've been Naruto for a few days, who has nothing to do with the files? I'm so busy with work every day. Well, Naruto can confirm that Tsunade didn't know. That's right, if she knew, Tsunade wouldn't hesitate to take Shizune over. Instead, she asked Naruto to take Shizune over 3 years ago. While they were chatting, Tobirama walked in. The moment she saw Tobirama, Tsunade's crossed legs were instantly closed, and her crooked body on the sofa was straight. She called out honestly, Second Grandpa. Tobirama nodded slightly, turned around, and saluted Naruto solemnly. Saluting is the military etiquette introduced after the reorganization of the team. Naruto originally exempted Tobirama from saluting him, but Tobirama has been insisting. He can't be special, and military management must be strictly implemented. Tobirama saluted Naruto, and Tsunade poked Naruto with knife-like eyes. Naruto could only pretend that he didn't see it. After Tobirama left, Naruto laughed and said, Where were we just now? Tsunade didn't answer, and Hinata on the side quickly helped Naruto out. We were just talking about the land of demons. We were talking about whether to take Shizune-san to the land of snow. Naruto tentatively asked Tsunade again, Tsunade-san? What do you think? Although I don't want to take that guy over, if you want, you can make an exception. You are my sensei, right? Naruto flattered a little. Tsunade's face eased. Women have to be praised, no matter how old they are. This is something Naruto has deeply felt in recent years. Tsunade thought about it seriously, shook her head and said, Don't disturb them, the land of snow is not necessarily safer than the land of demons. Speaking of this, Tsunade looked at Naruto with complicated eyes. What Naruto wanted to do, Tsunade didn't deliberately explore, but after 3 years in the land of snow, she guessed some of it. She knew how ambitious her apprentice was. Although she didn't like to see her second grandpa saluting Naruto on the surface, she was actually a little proud. She knew how proud her second grandpa was, but this proud person was willing to listen to her apprentice's words. It could be seen that her apprentice was not ordinary. Naruto shrugged. Well, I originally planned to take Shizune to the land of demons when I went to the land of demons. Since you don't trust the safety of the land of snow, I will do my own thing. Tsunade was stunned. You want to go to the land of demons? Naruto nodded. Tsunade asked, To do what? Naruto said casually, To see the witch who can predict life and death. If it's true, I will ask her to tell my fortune. Tsunade crossed her legs again, leaned her body on the sofa, and despised, Predicting the future is not real at all. She can't even predict the size of the dice. How can she predict? Tsunade said to herself. Naruto's eyes had begun to stare at Tsunade, listening to the meaning of Tsunade's words. It's not that I haven't seen it, I'm afraid. Tsunade-sen, you have seen the witch of the land of demons? Tsunade's mouth was slightly open, and her face was full of self-blame. Naruto continued to ask, You not only saw it, but also took her to gamble? Tsunade said perfunctorily, I'm just curious. Many people in the land of demons are afraid of that girl. I took her outside for a walk. Naruto's mouth twitched. She went to the casino for a walk. This teacher of his was really a talent. At the same time, Woodleaf received a mission from the land of demons to protect the witch, Aster. Kakashi looked at the scroll with a worried face. Woodleaf is now in need of people. How can they send people out? Haniwe, Check the land of demons for me," Kakashi shouted, and a tall woman walked out of the secret office in Naruto's office. If Naruto was here, he would recognize that this person was the medical ninja who taught him medical ninjutsu, Haniwe Fujishan. Yes. Haniwe Fujishan bowed slightly, seemingly respectful, but her eyes glared at Kakashi, and then went to get the file. Kakashi muttered in a low voice, "Glare at me, you think I can't teach you a lesson?" Chapter 561. It didn't take long for Hanatsuki to bring back the files of the Land of Demons. Then with a bang, she slammed it on the desk, stirring up a cloud of dust. Kaka coughed exaggeratedly and pretended to blame her. "Can't you see such a big pile of dust? Believe it or not, I'll fire you." Hanatsuki didn't expect such a big pile of dust, but she wasn't afraid at all. She stared at Kakashi and said, "Then hurry up and fire me, I have to thank you." Kakashi pretended to be magnanimous. "I'll let it go this time, but be careful next time." Hanatsuki snorted contemptuously. Then, she found a clean rag and cleaned the dust on the desk and the files. While Hanatsuki was cleaning, Kakashi watched from the side. The usual cold and serious eyes disappeared, and there was a trace of tenderness in his eyes, as well as a very enjoyable satisfaction. Kakashi and Hanatsuki knew each other. The main reason was Naruto. Originally, according to Sandame Naruto's idea, the women in each team should serve as medical ninjas. But Naruto insisted on learning medical ninjutsu. In this way, 2 members of Kakashi's team left at once. In addition, Kakashi was concerned about Naruto and often secretly observed Naruto. After a while, he and Hanatsuki got to know each other. But in terms of feelings, when Naruto was still in Woodleaf, the two didn't make much progress. The main reason was that Hanatsuki didn't like ninjas and thought that ninjas were the cause of casualties and misfortune. Until Naruto left, Kakashi began to hang around because of the news of Naruto's death. During that time, Kakashi was almost Tion was beaten by Jiraiya. Sometimes it was like eating 3 meals a day, so Kakashi was sent to the hospital more and more often. In this way, the two of them had more contact. In addition, the two of them had one thing in common, which was that their disciple had died, Naruto. The two of them became familiar with each other and became friends. But during this time, Kakashi's heart was dead, and he wasn't in the mood to talk about love. Hanatsuki came out of the shadow of her disciple's death before Kakashi. After all, for a medical ninja, she saw more death than ordinary people, not to say numb, but she could accept it. So, Hanatsuki, who came out of the shadow first, began to help Kakashi to come out of the shadow. She often took the initiative to chat with Kakashi about the weather, or about what she wanted to do if she didn't want to be a ninja anymore. At that time, Kakashi was Hanatsuki, Hanatsuki Tsuki, Isukazizis, Hanatsuki, S. Hanatsuki, T. Hanatsuki supported Kakashi's retirement from the ninja profession, and then become a businessman, or buy a piece of land, build a ranch, or some other interesting profession, even including acting. Later, Hanatsuki pointed at Jiraiya's nose and scolded him. Not to mention, from then on, the number of times Jiraiya beat Kakashi significantly decreased. At least when Hanatsuki was present, Jiraiya wouldn't do anything. At most, he would use his mouth. Therefore, Hanatsuki became Kakashi's talisman. Every time he was chased by Jiraiya, he would find Hanatsuki to hide. After a while, the two of them became more familiar with each other. Later, Jiraiya told Kakashi that Naruto was still alive. Kakashi agreed to take the position of Naruto. For this reason, for a long time, Hanatsuki ignored Kakashi, so Kakashi used Naruto-sama's power to make Hanatsuki his secretary. That's how the scene in front of him happened. After cleaning the dust on the table, Hanatsuki said to Kakashi, "If there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room." Kakashi came back to his senses and said seriously, "I haven't cleaned it yet. Clean it up before you go." Hanatsuki looked around strangely. The table was spotless at this time because she wiped it with a wet towel, and then wiped it with a dry towel. There was also the file of the Land of Demons. She also brushed the dust on it with a brush. She really couldn't find any place that wasn't cleaned. She wondered, where else? Why don't I see it? Kakashi pointed to his face seriously. There's still a lot of dust on my face. Hanatsuki was stunned and rolled her eyes at Kakashi. Are you sure you want me to wipe it for you? With that, Hanatsuki took the rag that she used to wipe the table and put it on Kakashi's face. Kakashi stopped her and said, Wait, change to this. With that, Kakashi opened a drawer and took out a pink towel. Hanatsuki was just about to mock Kakashi for using such a flirtatious color. But upon closer inspection, this towel looked familiar. It seemed to be the one that belonged to her. She remembered that it was raining that day, when Jiraiya threw Kakashi into the ditch in front of her house. The atmosphere was a bit romantic for a while. Kakashi looked at Hanatsuki expectantly. Hanatsuki picked up the towel. Then she saw a book under the towel, Intimate Strategy, by Jiraiya. Pervert. With that, Hanatsuki turned around and returned to her secretary's office, taking the towel with her. Kakashi was completely petrified. I screwed up again. And I even put a precious towel on it. It was all this book's fault. Kakashi picked up the book and was about to throw it in the trash. But, after thinking about it, he put it back and closed the drawer. Out of sight, out of mind. Kakashi let out a long sigh and picked up the Land of Demons dossier with a dead fish expression. Sealed demonic creatures? Puppet army? What's this? Kakashi paused for a moment and put away his lazy expression, replaced by a serious expression. He looked at the Land of Demons mission. S-rank mission. Protect the Land of Demons Witch. Reward. 500,000 Ryo in advance. Mission description. Recently, invaders have appeared in the Land of Demons. The witch prophesied that the seal on the Lord of Demons will be lifted. Demons, the Lord of Demons, prophesy? Kakashi originally had doubts about these unreliable words. He thought that they were alarmist words that would force the ninja village to send powerful ninjas. It wasn't like this hadn't happened before. And it happened quite often. Some rich merchants would exaggerate things in order to hire powerful ninjas in order to hire ninjas that fit the price they paid. These people have one thing in common, that is, they don't lack money and cherish their lives. This method has long been no secret, and everyone has a tacit understanding. But Woodleaf's dossier has a clear record, so it's a different story. Kakashi frowned and whispered, Why at this time, Woodleaf is also short of people now? He looked at the Land of Demons location. Kakashi's frown deepened. The Land of Demons is not far from Woodleaf. And, it's connected to the original location of the Land of Earth. Don't look for Kumogakure, look for Woodleaf. This can be understood as the Land of Demons and Woodleaf have business dealings. It's the Land of Demons' trust in Woodleaf, and it can be regarded as a regular customer. But if it's Kumogakure, then things are bad. If Woodleaf sends out their elites, and Kumogakure attacks Woodleaf at this time, it will be a big joke. 500,000 Ryo in advance, that is, 500,000 Ryo in advance, and later on, according to the progress of the matter, this price is already a lot. But at the moment of life and death, not to mention 500,000 Ryo, even 10 times more is not enough to make Woodleaf take the risk. Kakashi thought about it. Then he decided to refuse this task and proposed to let the Land of Demons find Kumogakure. This way, if it's a conspiracy, it will be avoided. If it's not a conspiracy, it won't be a problem. Kakashi thought about it again. If it's not a conspiracy, Woodleaf can also take the opportunity to capture the Land of Earth. Thinking of this, Kakashi couldn't help but say to himself, Have I become sinister? Then he comforted himself, It's not sinister, it's wisdom, all is fair in war. Well, then I should send someone to collect information. Chapter 562. The next day, the daimyo of the Land of Demons received a reply from Woodleaf. Woodleaf politely refused the commission and proposed to let the Land of Demons find the nearby Kumogakure. To be precise, the Kumogakure that occupied Iwagakure's territory, the Land of New Thunder. Soma, what should we do now? The daimyo of the land of demons sat behind the curtain and looked at the scroll returned by Woodleaf. Woodleaf actually refused the commission. It seems that Woodleaf is no longer the Woodleaf of the past. I just don't know if the good days of the Land of Fire are coming to an end. I really want to see that person's face. Speaking of this, the person behind the curtain laughed. The laughter was sharp, like a eunuch in the palace. The person outside the curtain waited for the person inside to laugh and wait for the next order. The person behind the curtain was tapping the scroll in his hand. This was a man who looked like he was in his 50s. His eyes were like willow leaves, thin and narrow. At this time, he narrowed his eyes and smiled coldly. Woodleaf suggested to ask for help from the Kumoga cure. Interesting. Well, why the Kumoga cure? Sanin is not far away. Oh, I see. Interesting. This new Naruto is not bad. Forget it. The one in the Land of Fire is still a bit related to me. If his good days are over, I won't get any benefits. With that, the daimyo threw out the scroll. Give a mission to the Kumoga cure. Double the reward, pay 1 million Ryo in advance. Forget it, give me more, 2 million Ryo, so they won't be tempted and delay things. The person outside the curtain bowed, took the scroll, and left. At the same time, Naruto hasn't set off yet. However, the movements of the Land of Demons didn't escape Naruto's eyes and ears. Although the Underground Exchange's intelligence network can't find Orochimaru, it's not difficult to monitor the news of the Land of Demons. Therefore, Naruto thought of going to the Land of Demons at this time. Sister Tsunade, we're about to leave. Are you sure you don't want to go? Naruto took Hinata's hand and greeted Tsunade. Tsunade waved her hand. I'm old, I don't want to run around. You can go. By the way, Hinata, come here for a moment. I have something to tell you. Hinata listened to Tsunade's words and walked over. Then a dark hemisphere enveloped the two of them, isolating them from sight and sound. This was one of the new technologies that had been developed in recent years. The real purpose of the black sphere was to make large objects invisible. The surface of the black sphere could completely simulate the surrounding environment without any blind spots. When Naruto saw the two of them hiding behind the barrier, he could not help but be stunned. There were only 3 people in the living room: Tsunade, Hinata, and him. Once the barrier was activated, it was clear that it was guarding against him. You even whispered behind my back. You're not talking bad about me, are you? Naruto had a suspicious look on his face. Inside the black sphere, Tsunade said to Hinata earnestly, Hinata, this is a good opportunity for you and Naruto to go out alone. You have to take advantage of it, understand? Hinata did not expect Tsunade to suddenly say this and suddenly became shy. But seeing Tsunade's serious expression, she nodded. I know. Tsunade asked, then what are you going to do? Hinata was confused. Huh? Tsunade continued, didn't you say you knew? Then what are you going to do? Hinata's brain was dizzy. She didn't know what to do. She just answered casually. Tsunade continued to look at Hinata with encouragement in her eyes. Hinata thought for a moment. Talk to him more? Tsunade continued to watch. Hinata bit her lip. Dress yourself up beautifully? Tsunade continued to watch. Hinata's face was red, like a ripe peach, pink and cute. Tsunade waited for a long time, but Hinata didn't say anything, so she said directly, you should take more initiative, such as, Tsunade whispered in Hinata's ear. Hinata's face continued to heat up. Boom! Steamboat exploded again. The black sphere faded until it disappeared. Hinata lowered her head and slowly returned to Naruto's side. Tsunade waved her hand. Let's go. Don't bully Hinata on the way. Naruto glanced at Tsunade suspiciously, then lowered his voice and said to Hinata, Did Tsunade-san say something bad about me? Tell me secretly. Hinata shook her head again and again. Naruto asked, Then tell me secretly, what did she say to you? Hinata was even more confused. How could she say that kind of thing? Fortunately, at this time, Tsunade said, It's a private conversation between women, why are you asking? Then she changed the topic. I met Shizen. Ask her if she wants to come. If she doesn't want to, don't force her. After all, she's married. Thinking about problems is no longer a matter of one person. She also has to consider her family's thoughts. Naruto knew that Tsunade was changing the topic, but he didn't pursue it. Hinata didn't tell him now because Tsunade was beside him. It wouldn't be too late to ask later. He replied, I know I don't want to bring her here. Don't worry, if she doesn't want to give up her family's land, I definitely won't be so shameless as to tie her up and bring her back. Naruto pulled Hinata's hand, but Hinata suddenly nervously avoided it. Naruto. Tsunade must have said something bad about him. Absolutely. Naruto, who was about to leave, glared at Tsunade's back. Then Naruto tried to pull Hinata's hand again. Fortunately, Hinata didn't avoid it this time. Otherwise, Naruto felt that he would be embarrassed to death. Being disliked by his own girlfriend was a big loss of face. But although Hinata didn't avoid it, her small hand was shaking. She was very nervous. Feeling Hinata's nervousness, Naruto was more certain of his guess. Tsunade's unscrupulous sensei definitely said something bad about him. So after leaving the heavy snow mountain, Naruto asked again when he was out of Tsunade's sight. Hinata, tell me, did Tsunade-san say something bad about me? If she did, you should tell me and let me have a chance to defend myself. Hinata shook her head and explained to Tsunade, No, Tsunade-san didn't say anything bad about you. Naruto didn't believe this sentence. Why are you so nervous if you didn't say anything bad about me? It's as if you're afraid that I'll eat you up. Naruto was very depressed, and at the same time, he couldn't help but begin to speculate what Tsunade said. Naruto felt that it was most likely that she told Hinata to be careful of him outside. For example, a sneak attack at night, or something like that. Am I, Naruto, that kind of person? No, I must not let these women look down on me. I can't let Hinata have a bad impression of me. Naruto secretly made up his mind that when he arrived at the land of demons, he must get 2 rooms at the hotel. Not only that, but other actions must be done strictly according to the rules of a gentleman. Gentle and elegant, respectful as a guest. Thinking of this, Naruto let go of Hinata's small hand. There seems to be a gentleman's rule that men and women shouldn't touch each other. If Tsunade saw this scene in front of her, she didn't know if she would cry because of Naruto's stupidity. Hinata felt that Naruto suddenly let go of her hand, and her heart suddenly became empty. She looked up at Naruto in confusion. Is Naruto-kun angry? But how could she say that kind of thing? Hinata was tangled. On the other side of Woodleaf, Kakashi finally decided who to send. Hinata Ninji and Sakai with Byakugan. There was no teacher to lead the team, just these 2 people. Their task was also very simple. They were responsible for monitoring the intersection of the Land of Demons and Kumogakure. Chapter 563. Woodleaf is looking for Sanbai. Akatsuki is also looking for Sanbai. At this time, Naruto is in the Land of Demons. A small farm on the outskirts of the Land of Demons is Shizen's new home. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Quickly get out of the way! Naruto just brought Hinata to Shizen's house when the wooden door of Shizen's house was knocked open from the inside. A youth riding a ferocious domestic pig galloped out. Naruto and Hinata are both stunned and then subconsciously move to the side, letting the ferocious family head pass by. Naruto-kun. That wouldn't be Shizen's son, right? Naruto is also a bit confused, but just now Naruto saw that on the back of the domestic pig, the little boy is holding a little pig in his arms. If I am not mistaken, it should be Tun-tun. If my guess is correct, that should be it. To be honest, this is a very amazing encounter. From the information that Naruto obtained from the underground trading house, Shizen's son should only be 3.5 years old this year. The nominal age is only 4.5 years old. Just when Naruto and Hinata are dumbfounded. In the farmhouse, a woman's stern voice resounds. Little bastard. If you dare to run, don't come back. Following this shout, a sturdy woman rushed out from the courtyard. Although she is sturdy, the most important thing is that this woman is really too fat. In terms of momentum, she is comparable to the domestic pig from earlier. The woman rushed out with a ferocious look. At the same time she saw Naruto and Hinata standing in front of the house. Naruto and Hinata stare at the woman in front of them and suddenly have a bold guess in their heart. The woman in front of them can't be Shizen, right? If seeing the 3.5-year-old kid riding a pig and racing a car is amazing, then seeing the beauty in front of them is shocking. You are here to ask for directions? When they first met, Shizen didn't recognize Naruto and Hinata. Naruto took a deep breath and gathered his courage. Ahem, is this Mr. Fujiwara's house? Fujiwara Tofuku was the name of the man on mute. Naruto learned about this from the information he obtained from the underground market. When Shizen heard that they were looking for her family, she immediately turned into a pretty girl from a humble family. She bowed and replied in a soft voice, "Yes, I am Tofuku Fujiwara's wife. May I ask?" Naruto suddenly couldn't hear the rest of the words clearly. Naruto felt a little dizzy and his ears were ringing. It had only been 3 years. How could a person change so much? Where's the slender mute? Although Naruto and Shizen didn't get along, he should be happy to see her like this. But in fact, Naruto only felt one word: panic. What should he say? Was time really a butcher's knife? Naruto was petrified. Seeing that Naruto didn't reply for a long time, Shizen couldn't help but ask again, "Excuse me, are you here for Tofuku?" Naruto finally came back to his senses. I'm not here for your husband. I'm here for you." Shizen carefully looked at Naruto again. At this time, Shizen finally saw a trace of familiarity on Naruto's face. But for a moment, she couldn't remember where she had seen it. Looking at Hinata again, the Hyuga's eyes were very unique. The reason why she didn't notice it before was mainly because 3 years of living as a peasant woman didn't make her think in this direction. "You are from the Hyuga clan. You are from Woodleaf?" Shizen's expression became complicated. Although it was a question, she could already confirm Hinata's identity. It was really because the Hyuga's eyes were too unique. Then there was the aura of ninja on Naruto and Hinata. Then she said to herself, "I didn't expect to see people from Woodleaf after 3 years. You are actually here for Tsunade-sama." Unfortunately, Tsunade-sama left the land of demons 3 years ago. And I don't know where she is now. Shizen misunderstood Naruto and Hinata as Woodleaf ninjas who were chasing after Tsunade. Naruto quickly explained, "You misunderstood, we are here for you." Shizen-san, don't you recognize me?" Naruto pointed to his face. Shizen looked at him again. "Sorry, although I feel that you are a bit familiar, but I really can't remember you for a while." "Wait, you called me Shizen-san?" Shizen's eyes suddenly widened. Although there were many people who called Shizen-san, not to mention others, in this village, there were many in the past. But there were definitely not many in Woodleaf. Shizen stared at Naruto and opened her mouth. "You are... No way. 3 years. It doesn't make sense for you to grow so big." Naruto knew that Shizen remembered, so he nodded. Shizen couldn't believe it. "Are you really Naruto? You have changed a lot in the past 3 years, you seem to have matured a lot." Hearing that the change was not small, Naruto only felt a little embarrassed. In terms of change, Naruto felt that he couldn't compare to Shizen. But it was better not to say this sentence. Naruto felt that it was better not to provoke Shizen when she rushed out like a wild boar. So he pointed to Hinata. "You have also seen this, Hinata." Shizen hurriedly turned sideways and invited the two inside. "Don't stand outside, come in and sit." After entering the room, Shizen made tea for the two. Then, they started chatting. Before Naruto came, he thought of various ways to meet. But none of them were like the one in front of him. "Is the child I saw at the door your son?" At the mention of her son, Shizen smiled embarrassedly. "I let you see it. That child was led astray by Tun. He knows how to make trouble all day long. Tion is in a mess." "That's true. Naruto quickly praised, "Naughty children are good, the more naughty boys are, the smarter they grow up." Shizen covered her mouth and laughed. "Don't say, you were quite naughty at that time, now you are indeed a lot more reliable." Naruto. Why did it suddenly come to him? But Naruto really didn't care too much. After chatting for a while, the conversation finally got to the main topic. "What are you doing here this time?" Shizen asked, and Naruto didn't hide it. He replied, "To tell you the truth, Tsunade-san is at my place now. I won't tell you where she is, so as not to cause you trouble. I'm here this time to ask if you want to live in another place. I can guarantee that that place is more comfortable than here to some extent." Hearing this sentence, Shizen was taken aback, and then hesitated. "Tsunade-sama wants me to go there?" Naruto replied honestly, "Tsunade-sama said that the decision is in your hands, and she wants you to make your own decision." Hearing this, Naruto saw that Shizen was obviously relieved. Shizen was likely to refuse his proposal. This was what Naruto could judge from Shizen's reaction. Shizen replied, "Well, I have to discuss it with my husband." Naruto nodded and said, "Of course." For a while, both sides were silent, and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Naruto thought for a while and took the initiative to get up. "Well, we won't bother you today, we will come again tomorrow, and you can tell us your decision." Shizen hurriedly urged him to stay. "You just came to the land of demons and don't have a place to stay, right? Why don't you stay at my house, as long as you don't mind?" Naruto waved his hand again and again. "What are you talking about? Your house is much better than Sandame's." "But we still won't bother you, so as not to cause you trouble. And we have already found a good hotel, it would be a waste if we don't stay there." Seeing that Naruto insisted on leaving, Shizen got up and sent the two to the door. Before Naruto left, Shizen finally couldn't help but ask, "How is Tsunade-sama?" Naruto replied with a smile, "That guy still eats, sleeps, and gambles like that. Fortunately, the gambling place was opened by me, otherwise, she would have gambled herself in." Hearing this sentence, Shizen laughed a little. "You are really master and apprentice." After leaving Shizen's house, Hinata asked, "Naruto-kun, we didn't open a hotel." Naruto explained, "If that's the case, the other party can't ask us to stay. If we really stay at her house, it will only bring her trouble. Don't forget that I am a wanted criminal in Woodleaf." Hinata nodded. "Then, should I go find a hotel now?" Naruto looked at the sky. "It's still early, let's find a chance to meet the witch of the land of demons." Chapter 564. In the land of ghosts, the status of a witch was very special. It could be said that she was a commoner or a noble. She was a commoner because she was not a royal family, had no official position, and had no real power. But it was also right to say that she was a noble. Because the witch family had a large independent house, the kind that was very imposing, even compared to the place where the daimyo of the land of ghosts lived. There were almost 1,000 servants in the house, and there were even private armed forces. This special status made Naruto think of the ancient European church. It was a theocracy. Not to mention, it was a bit interesting to think of it this way. At the same time, because of this special status, it was not easy to see the witch. In a restaurant, Naruto and Hinata ordered a sumptuous meal. After tea, Naruto called the waiter. "I have something to discuss with you." Naruto took out a banknote and handed it to the waiter of the restaurant. At first, the waiter wanted to be polite and express the noble character of the largest restaurant in the land of ghosts. However, after seeing the amount of the banknote, he directly bowed down. In addition, this was a private room, so there was even less reason to hesitate. "What do you want to ask? I will definitely tell you everything I know. I have been in this restaurant for most of my life. I may not know much about other things, but whether the news is reliable or not, I know the most." Whether the news is reliable or not. This person was a bit interesting. "I heard that the witch of your land of ghosts is particularly efficacious. I want to know how to meet her." Naruto looked at the person in front of him. He wanted to know from the waiter's expression whether the information he knew was reliable or not, so that he would not be fooled. When the waiter heard Naruto's words, he obviously relaxed a lot. It could be seen that Naruto's question was not beyond the waiter's ability. "You want to see the witch living in the mansion?" Naruto was surprised. "Why are there other witches in your land of ghosts?" The waiter of the restaurant smiled and said, "Of course there are. After all, the witch of the land of ghosts is too famous, and not everyone can meet her, so there will be some other witches." The waiter didn't continue, but his expression showed what he meant. It was nothing more than saying that those people were swindlers who did it for money and had no real ability. Naruto nodded, indicating that he understood. Then, the waiter looked at Naruto from head to toe. "Judging from your appearance, you should be quite skilled, right?" Although Naruto was a little puzzled as to why the shop assistant asked this question, he still nodded. The shop assistant continued, "Please don't take offense. I just heard that Mr. Witch is currently recruiting guards. If you don't mind, you can meet Mr. Witch through this route. Other than that, you can also go there through money. However, it's not that simple to ask Mr. Witch for help." With that said, the waiter moved closer to Naruto, lowered his head, and whispered for a while. After that, the waiter left, but came back in after a while. "You've given me a lot of money. If I don't say something, I'll feel uneasy. After you meet Mr. Witch, if Mr. Witch says that you are going to die, please do not hesitate to leave Mr. Witch's side, otherwise, you will really die." After saying that, the shop assistant left and never returned. The mysterious look on the shop assistant's face frightened Hinata. "Naruto-kun, we should just ignore this Mr. Witch." Naruto smiled and said, "It doesn't matter, I have already checked this information before. If it weren't for the fact that Mr. Witch is really special, I wouldn't have gone looking for her." Hinata was still worried. "Naruto-kun, what did the shop assistant whisper just now?" The shop assistant's voice was so low that even Hinata, who was standing so close to him, did not hear it. However, the most important thing was that Naruto had the system's barrier around him. Other systems' perception barriers would not be able to detect Naruto. Otherwise, no matter how low the voice was, the perception barrier would still be able to detect it. Naruto simply replied, "He said that just giving money is not enough, you have to give it to the right person. Otherwise, you still won't be able to see her. Let's go, I'll go see if I can enter the way to recruit guards." Recruit guards? Hinata did not understand. He was sitting on more than half of the Snow Country's property, as well as the entire flow of funds from the underground exchange. Naruto should be best at money. Why would he want to be a guard if he could use money? Also, if those guys from the Mercenary Academy knew that their principal was a guard for someone else, they would probably directly come over and destroy the country of ghosts. After all, Naruto had long been deified in the Mercenary Academy, the Snow Country, and even the underground exchange. "Naruto-kun, why don't you use money to meet her directly?" Naruto replied, "That way, you can only meet her once. At most, she can tell my fortune." Why would I need her to tell my fortune? This sentence made Hinata even more confused. 5 minutes later, Naruto and Hinata arrived at the house of the country of ghosts. After reporting that he was here to apply for a guard position, he was directly let in and led to a big room. The moment Naruto entered the big room, there were already a lot of people, and many of them looked fierce. There were also some people who revealed a strange expression after seeing Hinata. Some of them were even bolder and took the initiative to say hello. "Hello little beauty, let's get to know each other. You can call me Brown Bear, everyone else calls me that." Naruto raised his eyebrows and looked at the guy who had a simple and honest name, but was not simple and honest at all. "Uncle, how old are you this year?" This sentence made the whole room suddenly quiet. Then there was the sound of earth-shattering laughter, the kind that was unscrupulous. The man who was called Uncle was actually not that old. He was not even 30 years old, about 25 years old, but his hair was a little white. Obviously, he was still very young, but he already had white hair. Therefore, this call of Uncle was very interesting. The man blushed from the ridicule around him and couldn't help but fly into a rage out of humiliation. "Little thing, be careful of trouble from the mouth." Naruto glanced at the man, Old fart, be careful not to sprain your waist. The man stared at Naruto, and a trace of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. Naruto was too lazy to care about the other party. He reminded him first. If the other party really attacked him, then he could only say sorry. And Naruto was not too unreasonable. Hinata was beautiful, and everyone loved beauty. He understood this point. It was not illegal to look, and there was no loss. Just like the others, Naruto did not find fault with them. But if they crossed the line, not to mention killing, Naruto could do crueler things. Just as the guy who called himself Brown Bear stared at Naruto, Naruto waited for him to attack, and the others were waiting for the two sides to fight. The door of the room opened again, and 3 more people were sent in. The gatekeeper at the door shouted, "Almost all the people are here, a total of 52 people, we only accept 5. I won't say more, I'll close the door in a while, you can fight among yourselves to find 5 winners, then come out and report." After saying that, the gatekeeper left. The tense atmosphere in the room was pushed to the peak by the gatekeeper's words. The brown bear smiled with a simple and honest face. "Little thing, kneel down and beg me now, I can give you a bite to eat and give you a place." Naruto replied, "I don't need you to kneel down, apologize to me now, and I promise you won't die without descendants." Chapter 565. Boy, you are courting death. The brown bear said and punched Naruto's abdomen. Naruto didn't dodge and took the hit. But as a result, Naruto was fine, but the brown bear's right arm was directly broken. For a time, screams resounded throughout the house. Naruto's eyes slightly condensed. It was a powerful punch, and he used chakra. It can be seen that even if the person in front of him is not a ninja, he still has some ninja skills. Just like the samurai of the Land of Iron, they don't know ninjutsu, but they can use chakra on their swords. "I haven't made a move yet, and you fell down. You dare to tease people like this? I'm afraid you are a fool." Naruto looked at the brown bear curled up on the ground with no expression. The pain of the broken arm made the brown bear's face red, and the blue veins on his face were exposed, and bean-sized sweat kept flowing. The brown bear knew at this time that he really kicked an iron plate this time. The reason why he can act arrogantly is mainly because he knows a little method to extract chakra. "I was wrong, please don't kill me." The brown bear didn't act arrogantly. At this time, he knew very well that he might die today. However, at this time, the slender woman who has been squatting by the window suddenly jumped out, like a cat. The back of her hand stretched out from the cuff of her sleeve and directly cut off the brown bear's neck, and the brown bear's head was cut off. Then she turned and retreated, and did not continue to attack Naruto. Blood splattered all over the ground along with the brown bear's head. With a gulyalu sound, the head rolled until it hit the wall. Naruto couldn't help but frown when he saw this. In fact, he didn't intend to kill the brown bear. At most, according to what he said just now, he will kill the brown bear. The woman who was as agile as a cat didn't explain anything. After killing the brown bear, she rushed to the others. The claws of her hands stretched out and retracted, and her figure jumped and leaped in the house, killing most of the people in the house. For a time, the heads on the ground were like potatoes rolling out of a bag, scattered all over the ground. The fresh blood was like a tomato that was on its period. There was no beauty in it, only blood and a foul stench. The people who were killed had a few things in common. First of all, they were all men. Secondly, they were all the people who were looking at Hinata lecherously just now. This girl must have a story. Although Naruto had some guesses in his heart, he did not intend to delve into it. No one took the initiative to provoke him again, so he just watched from the side. However, the remaining people seemed to have been scared out of their wits by the girl and had no intention of attacking. The girl retracted her hooked claws and walked out of the room. Cool girl. Then, Naruto and Hinata also walked out. When the gatekeeper saw the 3 people coming out, he didn't ask any questions. He didn't even have the intention to take a look at the house. He waved his hand and whispered in an old voice, "Come with me. I'll take you to see Lord Zusui." Azusama? Wasn't he going to meet Miko directly? Well, he was recruiting people from the outside. There was no trust in the people he recruited. It was very dangerous to bring them to meet Miko directly. Zhu Sui was a gentle-looking man wearing glasses. He was wearing a dark kimono and a tall hat. Naruto glanced at him. He was almost sure that this guy's physique was even worse than a farmer's. My name is Zhu Sui. I'm the head of Miko's guards. You will follow my orders in the future. Well, you can also introduce yourselves. The girl glanced at Naruto and Hinata. Seeing that neither of them spoke, she said, Mountain Cat, good at killing people. So simple. Zhu Sui's eyes fell on Naruto. Naruto replied, Mountain Chicken, good at killing people. Shameless copy and paste. The girl in front heard Naruto's words and looked back at Naruto. Then, without waiting for Hinata to speak, Naruto directly introduced, This is my sister, Shan-Shan, good at killing people. Well, 3 people, all with the surname, Shan. Zhu Sui didn't see anything wrong and nodded seriously. So you are together? The girl said expressionlessly, I don't know them. Hearing this, Zhu Sui was a little confused. She turned to look at the old man who came with Naruto and the others. It seemed that now was not the right time to ask directly. Zhu Sui thought it would not be too late to ask after sending these people away. She cleared her throat to hide her embarrassment. During the period of employment, if you need to go out, please report to me first. After saying a few simple rules in a row, Zhu Sui told the old man at the door, Butler, take them to their rooms to rest. The old man, who was regarded as the gatekeeper by Naruto, bowed slightly and raised his arm to lead the way. Everyone this way, please. That's it. Then Naruto, Hinata, and the girl were each arranged a room. Also, the recruitment was for external recruitment, and it was not enough to trust them. Directly bringing them to the Miko-sama, the potential danger is too great. Spiritual network. Hinata sent a private message to Naruto, Naruto-kun, are we just going to wait here? Naruto replied, Isn't it good to have someone provide food and accommodation? Just think of it as coming out to play. Hinata nodded. Since Naruto made a decision, she naturally had no objection. Then, are we still going to see Sister Shizune tomorrow? For Shizune, Naruto felt that most likely she would not choose to leave. This could be seen from the fact that she directly asked if it was Tsunade's idea. If Naruto said it was Tsunade's idea, then Shizune might have fought for it. But now, it was difficult. When the time comes, I'll send a clone to take a look. The night was silent, and Naruto, who wanted to be a gentleman, did not launch a night attack on Hinata. Everything was as usual. In the afternoon of the second day, Naruto and the others met the Miko-sama. It was not a private meeting. His perception barrier swept through the courtyard, and it was full of archers in the dark. On the left and right of the Miko-sama, in addition to a Suho, there were several seemingly extraordinary guards with swords. "Milord, I've brought them here," a Suho announced expressionlessly. The Miko-sama of the Land of Demons had white hair. It was not Kakashi's silver hair, but a warm, yellowish white. Neat bangs, a princess hairstyle. It was a small section of hair on both sides of the bangs that reached above and below the cheeks. Her appearance and eyes looked somewhat similar to Hinata's. The difference was that the Miko-sama Asta's eyes were lavender, and her pupils were blurred and empty. The Miko-sama looked over, and the first person she saw was Hinata. Her expression was slightly stunned. Obviously, the Miko-sama also felt the similarity between her and Hinata's appearance. She even suspected that she had a younger sister. Or an older sister. Then she looked at Naruto. Ding ding ding. The bell beside the Miko-sama rang softly, and the color of Asta's eyes darkened. As her pupils dilated, she saw an illusion. At the bottom of the magma valley, the monster in the magma stretched out several long tentacles like a squid and attacked the red-haired young man in front of it. The red-haired man moved nimbly and cut off several monster tentacles in succession. The man shouted her name, and then a tentacle suddenly penetrated the man's back. Then she cried, "Naruto!" Asta came back to her senses and raised her hand to touch the corner of her eye. It was a tear. This was a tear affected by the emotions of the future. She actually shed tears because of the death of the boy in front of her. Your name is Naruto? Leave, you will die if you follow me. The Miko-sama said, then waved her sleeve and said, I'm tired, tell everyone to leave. Naruto. Chapter 566. How did the Miko of the Land of Demons know Naruto's real name? Naruto-kun didn't introduce his real name at all. Information about the Land of Demons? That's even more impossible. Even the underground trading house doesn't have information about Naruto. There's also the Akatsuki. Is the information about the Land of Demons better than the Akatsuki and the underground trading house? If that's the case, the Land of Demons won't be a small country that can't even be compared to the 5 major countries. Hearing the Miko of the Land of Demons call out Naruto's name, Hinata felt that her heart was almost in her throat. He felt a chill in his heart. The restaurant waiter's words suddenly brushed through her heart. You gave me a lot of money. If I don't say something, I will feel a little guilty. After you see Miko-sama, if Miko-sama says that you are going to die, please don't hesitate to leave Miko-sama's side immediately, otherwise, you will really die. The "you" in the words referred to Naruto. Those words were the information that Naruto bought from the restaurant with money. Hinata couldn't help but look at Naruto. Spiritual network. Hinata privately messaged Naruto, Naruto-kun. Let's leave the Land of Demons? If you want to relax, you can go to other places. I heard from Tsunade-sama that the hot springs in the Land of Hot Water are very comfortable. Hinata was worried about Naruto, but Naruto didn't care and replied, It's okay, believe me, I won't die. At the same time, Preserved Egg in Naruto's body shared vision with Naruto and stared at the bell on the witch's body. The rule on that bell is strange. It can transfer cause and effect. And that bell seems to be locked onto you. Naruto replied, According to the development of the original world, it seems to be like this. By the way, can you eat the rule on that bell? Preserved Egg hesitated for the first time. If possible, it's best not to touch that thing. That thing has some kind of connection with the will of this world. In my opinion, leaving this guy is the best choice, just like Hinata. This thing seems to only be effective within a certain range around the witch. If that's the case... For the first time, Naruto felt that the matters of the country of ghosts were difficult to handle. After Century Egg ate the Grim Reaper, Naruto thought that Century Egg could eat anything. No, the Rinnegan egg he obtained from Nagato also said something similar, so Naruto hasn't used the Rinnegan until now. According to Preserved Egg, the rules involved in Rinnegan touch the core rules of the world. If he used it now, it would be easily noticed by the will of the world. Therefore, it would only be safe to use it after Jubi's chakra was analyzed. Naruto chose not to move the Rinnegan, but the matter of the Land of Demons. Naruto didn't want to leave like this. The blood of death that had calmed down for a few years seemed to boil again. After Naruto and the others left the courtyard, Zu-Sui said with dissatisfaction, Elizabeth-sama, these people were hired to protect you. They should die for you. You doing this? I'm under a lot of pressure. You also know that would Leaf refuse the commission, your safety is now not guaranteed. Aster's face was indifferent. You also leave, I want to be alone. Zu-Sui sighed and said a few words to the gods around her before turning and leaving. After Zu-Sui left, Aster returned to the house alone and looked at the bell in her hand in a daze. The transparent bell was the talisman left by her mother. Usually, it wouldn't ring. Only when she saw the illusion of death would she hear the sound of the bell. And every time, the person who died was the closest to her. Aster couldn't help but think of the boy she just saw in the courtyard. From the illusion of death, she knew that the person was called Naruto. Thinking of the tears at that time, Aster's heart was curious about the boy she had never met before. She whispered to herself, What kind of person is Naruto? Why would I cry because of his death? In the past few years, Aster was almost numb to the death of the people around her. She rarely shed tears. In her own words, no matter how many tears she shed, they would eventually dry up. But this time was obviously different. Recalling the illusion of death, she cried heartbreakingly in the illusion. That kind of sadness seemed to have not been experienced since her mother passed away. That boy, will he become an important person like her mother? Asta didn't know. Asta's heart recalled the appearance of Naruto. That flame-like red hair was very beautiful, just like the sunset she watched with her mother when she was a child. And that white and tender face, that guy's skin, seemed to be better than hers. Thinking of this, Asta couldn't help but complain, "I don't know how that guy Zhu Sui selected the guards for me. That guy is so beautiful, his strength is definitely not that good." While Asta was talking about Naruto, Naruto was standing not far from her, eating the fruits that were originally prepared for her. The invisibility barrier completely concealed Naruto. Naruto could see Asta, but Asta couldn't see Naruto. Not only could she not see him, but she also couldn't hear the sound of Naruto eating. Even the fragrance of the fruits was contained within the barrier. Naruto ate the fruits while listening to Asta's muttering. For a moment, he couldn't help but feel suspicious. Who was this girl talking about? Could it be him? Naruto condensed an ice mirror in his hand and looked at himself. Narcissistically, he sighed, "Tisk, I've become more handsome." As for the underestimation of his strength, it was completely ignored. Asta continued to murmur, "But if I keep him by my side, he will die, so I can't think about him anymore. Let him go as far away as possible." Speaking of this, Asta cutely shook her head, as if she wanted to throw all her curiosity about Naruto out of her head. On the other side, outside the land of demons, over the forest, a strange black and white bird that looked like a brush and ink painting flew over from a distance. Two people were sitting on the strange bird, one was wearing a white robe, and the other was wearing a black tights. "Sasai, let your bird fly lower," the man in the white robe said to the person behind him. The person behind him, called Sasai, didn't give any order, so the strange bird lowered its body and flew into the forest at a low altitude. At this time, the person in front of him made a one-handed seal and condensed chakra. Byakugan. Open. For a moment, several ferocious stripes bulged around the eyes of the man in front. The identity of this person, needless to say, is Hinata Ningji of the Hyuga clan, Hinata's brother. Hinata Ningji's sight penetrated the layers of dense forest and fell on the land of demons. Soon, Hinata Ningji saw a ninja and a ninja beast on the periphery of the land of demons. The ninja was a fat woman, and the ninja beast was a pig. Let's stop here. There are ninjas in the land of demons. Next, we have to be careful and try not to let them find us. Hinata Ningji said, and then looked at the pig a few more times. A little pig with a necklace. Why does he feel a little familiar? He seems to have seen it somewhere. Chapter 567. Shin Cloud Village. In the Iwagakure office, Reikage looked at the commission in his hand and frowned. A commission from the country of demons, S-Class 2 million Rio deposit. It can be said that this is a very lucrative task. But what makes Reikage hesitant is that the country of demons and the country of fire are inextricably linked. And in the past, the task of the country of demons was given to Woodleaf. Reikage thought for a while, then threw the commission aside and pondered alone. Although 2 million Rio is very expensive, Kumogakure's financial resources are far more than that after occupying the country of fire. In other words, he really doesn't care about this money now. Moreover, the war is urgent, and Kumogakure is divided into two parts to occupy two countries, which is a bit difficult. In this case, it's not worth it to send people out to do this kind of task. Reply to the country of demons, Kumogakure refuses the commission at this stage. Reikage said, and the secretary beside him respectfully replied, "Yes. But it said that the demon has the power to destroy the world." The secretary hesitated. Reikage said disdainfully, "It's just the power to destroy the world in the eyes of ordinary people. The bijou also has the power to destroy the world in their eyes. Isn't the world still existing? And the bijou has long been used by us." The secretary bowed again and said, "Understood, I know what to do." At the same time, 4 pale-faced people in white robes came to the periphery of the country of demons. The 4 stood on the top of a tree and looked at the country of demons from afar. Is this the country of demons? I don't seem to feel the presence of strong people. The person who spoke was a man with purple hair. He stood in front, and the other 3 stood behind him. He seemed to be the leader. The man with yellow hair said, "I heard that the country of demons doesn't even have an exclusive ninja. This task should be regarded as an outing." Another man with white hair and a veil asked, "Then, do we still use the little earthworms that the Lord gave us?" The man with purple hair thought for a while, "That thing is precious after all, let's test it first. Let's go, don't let the Lord wait." The man with purple hair took the lead and rushed out. This scene fell into the eyes of Hinata Ningji, who was also hiding in the forest. Hinata Ningji was able to read their lips based on the movements of their lips. It seems that the country of ghosts has indeed encountered an external enemy. Sasai said expressionlessly, "This has nothing to do with us. We are only responsible for collecting information and passing it back." "What did you see?" Sasai took out the letter bucket and held a pen. It looked like he was going to record it. Hinata Ningji briefly explained what he saw and his guess. Instead of writing, Sasai put the pen away. "That's just your guess. Our mission this time is to collect accurate information before sending it back. If you can't prove it, then let's wait until you can." Hinata Ningji did not refute. Instead, he chose to close his eyes. "I need to rest." According to their speed, they will reach the shrine in 6 minutes. 5 minutes later, Hinata Ningji activated Byakugan again and looked at the Temple of Light. The 4 of them were getting closer. The speed of these people was very close to Hinata Ningji's judgment. Hinata Ningji looked in the direction of these people and looked at the Temple of Light again. "Huh. There's something in the temple." In Byakugan vision, Hinata Ningji saw a hemisphere with chakra's fluctuation beside the witch. "It's a barrier." Hinata Ningji narrowed his eyes, and his whole body tensed up. What will be inside the barrier? Will it be Kumogakure's ninja? Hinata Ningji stared at the barrier, waiting for the moment when these 4 people came to the door. They met. 4 ninjas appeared in the temple. Because the 4 of them didn't hide and went straight in, the guards around the temple also found their traces. However, ordinary arrows were nothing against these people. The 4 of them barged in as if there was no one around them. Just as the 4 of them approached the Temple of Light, the circular barrier around the Temple of Light was suddenly lifted. The people inside the barrier protected the Temple of Light and kicked the 4 ninjas. There was only one person inside the barrier. Who is this person? Is he a Kumogakure's ninja? Hinata Ningji stared at the person who came out of the barrier. After looking for a long time, he found that he couldn't recognize him. This person didn't have a forehead protector, and Chakra's reaction was weak, indicating that the other party didn't use chakra just now. He just used taijutsu. As the saying goes, the layman watches the fun, and the expert watches the skill. From the speed of the 4 ninjas, Hinata Ningji could speculate their strength. It should be Chunin's strength close to Jonin's. 4 Chunin's strength close to Jonin's were defeated by a person who didn't use chakra. The only person in Konoha who can do this is Gai Sensei. Can this person's taijutsu strength be comparable to Kai Sensei? In addition to Reikage, there is someone in Kumogakure with such powerful taijutsu. I found a ninja who isn't in the file. I suspect it's a high-level umbu of Kumogakure. Hinata Ningji continued to stare at the battle while telling Sasai what he saw. Miko's bedroom. Shigaya's eyes widened, staring at Naruto standing in front of her. His red hair flew in her eyes, and his handsome face overlapped with a figure she had been looking forward to for a long time. Handsome. The next moment, the person's figure disappeared. He took the initiative to attack the enemy, and with the help of the perception barrier, Gentle Fist 8 trigrams 64 palms. After a set, all 64 acupuncture points were sealed. The purple-haired ninja was horrified. What did you do to me? Why can't I feel my chakra? Naruto didn't answer immediately and used the same method to subdue the other three. You don't even know the Hyuga clan's gentle fist. How do you survive? Naruto mocked with contempt. The purple-haired ninja was surprised. Are you a wood leaf ninja? As he spoke, in the perception barrier, Naruto saw a small snake-like thing in the ninja's body seem to have received some order and took the initiative to send chakra. Naruto pretended not to know and replied, "No." After the purple-haired youth felt chakra, a smile suddenly appeared on his face. The Hyuga clan's gentle fist is only so. Do you think I can't do anything to you just because you sealed my chakra? While speaking, the man used chakra, and a few curse-like face lines suddenly appeared on his face, and his hands formed hand seals. Earth release. Earth corridor. The earth waves violently rolled out from under the house, forming a continuous maze-like earth wall, separating Naruto and the others from each other. At the same time, 3 more chakra snakes flew out from the man's body and rushed to the 3 people. Use combined ninjutsu. The man shouted. However, the 3 chakra snakes were caught in mid-air by an invisible big hand. Naruto was very calm. I sealed your acupuncture points because I found this interesting thing on your body. Otherwise, do you think you can still jump around? Let me test your strength. As for the other 3, I will keep them for research. While talking, Naruto launched an attack on the man. Outside the demon land, Hinata Ninji's face was full of disbelief. What did he see? He saw an outsider use gentle fist. Hinata Ninji stared at the eye patch on Naruto's left eye and said with certainty, I found a Kumogakure ninja, that person transplanted Byakugan. Sasai was surprised. Byakugan? Hinata Ninji affirmed, yes, it should be the one that Kumogakure took from the mist. It must be Byakugan, otherwise, it's impossible to use the Hyuga clan's gentle fist. Hinata Ninji was convinced. But how did the opponent learn the Hyuga clan's gentle fist? Sasai was still calm. Even if it's your clan's Byakugan, you can't act rashly. This matter should be reported to the higher-ups first. And since the opponent has Byakugan, we have to be more careful. Chapter 568. You are Woodleaf's ninja? Didn't Woodleaf refuse the commission? When Naruto defeated all the enemies, Aster asked the question in her heart. Obviously, she also regarded Naruto as a member of the Hyuga clan. I'm not Woodleaf's ninja, gentle fist. I learned it by accident. Miko-sama, do you want to interrogate these people, or do you want me to do it for you? Aster didn't really care whether Naruto was Woodleaf's ninja or not. She was just curious because Wu Nan and her daughter had nothing to say in the bedroom. I'll leave these people to you, I don't think you can get anything out of them. Naruto nodded with a smile. This is a wise choice. Handing over ninjas to ordinary people for interrogation is really hard to get anything out of. At this time, there was a sound of footsteps outside. However, those people were blocked by the wall. Break the wall. Miko-sama must not have an accident. Quick. The sound of the wall being smashed was heard, but Naruto ignored it and disappeared with the 4 people. Without the support of the caster, the wall made by chakra quickly collapsed. The god commander with glasses rushed in. Aster, Sama, are you okay? Aster. Sama is what Aster calls her in private. If there is a sacrifice or an outsider, she will call her Miko-sama or Aster-sama. I'm fine. I'm going to the side hall, you find someone to repair it for me. When the wall collapsed, Aster went out. Aster quickly stopped her. The ninjas are missing at this time, don't. Aster interrupted. Those people have been dealt with, you don't have to worry about them, arrange someone to help me repair it, and then go back and count the casualties. Dealt with? How could they be dealt with? Who dealt with them? Zhu Sui continued to follow Aster and asked. Aster briefly explained the matter, and after learning that it was her who brought the ninjas, Aster's heart was relieved. That's great, I'll go and visit this Miko-sama again. With this Miko-sama's protection, your safety will be guaranteed. Aster's face didn't smile. No, I will let him leave the land of demons tonight. Aster's body froze, She finally found a backer, and now she wants to drive him away? Sama, your safety, Asta replied. Didn't you send a commission to Kumogakure? With that said, regardless of Asta's dissuasion, she went to the side hall alone. At the moment when the 4 ninjas rushed in front of her, she suddenly felt a sense of relief. If she died, then no one else would die because of her. That was what she thought back then. But then Naruto suddenly appeared. With his own strength, he dealt with the 4 powerful ninjas who looked down on the Kingdom of Ghosts guards as if they were nothing. His strengths, his hot ninja. But she saw that person's death. From birth until now, all the death illusions she saw, unless the person left her side, they would die for various reasons. She believed that this time would be no exception. Therefore, after Naruto left, after she calmed down, Asta decided to let Naruto leave her. The farther, the better. She can't implicate others anymore. Ding, 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 ding. The bell stuck in front of his chest suddenly rang. It was another illusion of death. Asta's eyes widened. She saw an endless number of stone men marching in an unknown direction. She saw the stone man's spear piercing Asta's body. Asta is going to die. The illusion of death disappeared, leaving Asta standing there in a daze. Sama, the casualties have been counted. Asta came back to her senses. How long has she been standing here? Asta didn't know, she only felt that her legs were a little numb. She was just thinking about her childhood. At that time, Asta was very young, and they grew up together. Asta was her servant, and also her playmate. At that time, her mother hadn't left yet, and it was the happiest time of her life. You're so annoying. How many times have I told you, you don't need to inform me about this? Asta's expression was cold, but Asta didn't care. In the temple, who didn't know Asta's temperament? Has that person left? Asta asked. Asta replied, not yet. Asta lost her temper. Didn't I tell you to drive him away? How did you do it? Can't you do this well? Asta's mouth twitched. Did you tell me to drive him away? Didn't you say you'll talk to him at night? Asta complained in her heart, but she didn't talk back. Asta wanted to use this as an excuse to make a fuss, but Asta couldn't do anything since Asta didn't answer. Where is he? Take me there. Asta was embarrassed. Sama, if you really drive him away, then your safety. Asta seized the opportunity, angrily rebuking, you dare to refute me? You're just a retainer. Who gave you the guts? Asta's acting wasn't bad. However, she underestimated Asta's understanding of her. Therefore, her acting was a bit over the top. Asta felt today's Asta was a bit strange. Was she frightened by the intruder? Asta scolded while Asta was thinking, I asked you a question, how dare you not answer? Forget it, you should pack up and leave. Don't appear in front of me again, I'm annoyed when I see you. You want me to leave? Asta finally felt a trace of familiarity with this drama. Something similar happened in the past. The servant who was doing his job was scolded by Asta. Asta directly drove him away. He knew the reason. Asta had seen that person's death illusion. Sama, did you see something? The room suddenly became quiet. Asta opened her mouth. I'm scolding you. You're just a servant, yet you dare to question me? Do you know your own identity? Asta continued to resist. However, Asta's face was paler than before. It was sickly white, frighteningly white. Sama, just tell me, did you see my death? Silence. This time, Asta's mouth trembled. However, when she saw the fear in Asta's eyes, she directly said, yes, if you continue to stay by my side, you will die. Therefore, for your own good, and also for my own good, you should leave. Zhu Sui took a deep breath. Asta calmed down. After a short period of panic, Asta calmed down again. Actually, I knew this day would come, so I really didn't want to be your guard. Asta replied, that's good. You can leave now. Asta continued. At that time, I was in a constant state of anxiety, afraid that day would come. Asta nodded, showing that she understood. Asta suddenly smiled. But now, I'm not so afraid. I'm ready to die for you. Asta's expression froze. Instead of being happy, she was really angry. You're all like this. I told you to leave, but you didn't. Good. Then wait for death by my side. Chapter 569. After reading the life experience of the 4 people with Genjutsu, Naruto also knew more about the 4 people and the person called Yomi behind them. Simply put, the person named Yomi once used the power of the demon Morio to create a group of stone soldiers to unify the world. However, before the war started, the demon was sealed by Miko. Now that he's making a comeback, he naturally wants to do the same thing. Actually, I think we should change our position. Preserved Egg's shadow was projected in front of Naruto. Naruto felt strange. What position? Preserved Egg replied, the position of the guy called Morio. Obviously, the guy called Morio should be the same as Otsutsuki Kagaya, an outsider. His purpose of coming to this world, I think it should be similar to ours. Is this the truth of the matter? Preserved Egg continued, Kagaya Otsutsuki was sealed by her own son. It sounds ironic. That son is her son, but I don't know what's inside. Naruto probed, the will of the world? Preserved Egg asked back, what else can it be? Then he sighed, whether it's Otsutsuki Kagaya or Morio, these are all outsiders who were targeted by the will of the world before their wings were fully developed. They are all bloody lessons. You have to be more careful. After hearing this sentence, Naruto suddenly felt a chill on his neck. Then what do you mean by standing in Morio's position? Help Yomi release Morio? Preserved Egg shook his head. I just want you to stand in his position and see the bloody lesson. To put it simply, it's better if we don't participate in this matter. Naruto asked, hey? Didn't you say you wanted to see Miko? Preserved Egg didn't deny and replied, yes, but now that I've seen it, it's time to go. At the same time, the news of the Land of Lightning rejecting the commission came back. After hearing the news, Asta was as calm as ever, but Aosu's face was pale. Asta-san, Kumogakure rejected it. Ziwan nodded and softly replied, N. Zusui said, the only person we can rely on now is that person. You still want to chase him away? Asta didn't hesitate. Yeah. Zusui opened her mouth and then closed it again. Alright, I got it. Then, let me talk to that lord. Asta was a little surprised. She lifted her head to look at Zusui, her eyes full of suspicion. Zusui bowed and said, after all, he's someone I recruited. Asta continued to look at her foot and spat out 2 words. No need. As he spoke, he got up and walked towards Naruto's residence. It wasn't a long journey. With light steps, she arrived in 2 minutes. Dong, dong, boom. There was a light knock on the door. Asta was in front, and Zusui followed closely behind. Naruto's perception barrier clearly saw who it was. Therefore, he didn't ask who it was and directly said, come in. It's reasonable to say that Naruto should take the initiative to open the door. After all, Naruto was just a mercenary. But neither Asta nor Naruto cared about this. Even Zusui didn't. After meeting, Asta asked, what did the 4 ninjas do? Naruto didn't hide it. He immediately said that Yomi had unlocked part of the seal. Yomi has unlocked the seal that sealed Morio's soul. Now he should go to the place where the body is sealed. The Stone Army has also awakened. Now they should be heading to the land of demons. Ordinary people don't know what these 2 sentences mean, but as a Miko of the land of demons, she naturally knows some details of the seal. Has the Stone Army already headed to the land of demons? Asta thought of the death illusion that Zusui was pierced by the Stone Army. It seems that if Zusui doesn't leave her, it won't be far from coming true. Oh, that's it. Thank you for the information. Your mission has been completed. There's nothing else for you to do now. You can take your reward and leave. With that, Aster gestured to Zhu Sui behind her. Although Zhu Sui didn't want to, she still took out the banknotes and handed it to Naruto. Thank you again for saving my life. Aster slightly bowed, then turned around and left. Looking at Aster leaving, Naruto couldn't help but complain to Preserved Egg. The reason why this girl chased me away again and again is because she doesn't want to see the death illusion come true. Such a cute girl doesn't look like a bad person. Preserved Egg sarcastically said, Yes, no one said that she is a bad person. She is a good person. You are the bad person. Naruto. Preserved Egg saw Naruto was deflated. He opened his mouth again. In this world, there are many things that can't be measured by right or wrong. If you don't understand, you can see it as a different standpoint. Naruto rolled his eyes and said contemptuously, Do you think I don't understand such a simple principle? Preserved Egg heaved a sigh of relief and wagged its tail. Does that mean we can pack up and leave now? At this moment, after Aster left, Zhu Sui suddenly returned. She directly knelt in front of Naruto. Kneeling was a big ceremony no matter where it was. Naruto was not polite at all. He sat there motionlessly. Master Zhu Sui, why are you kneeling now? Zhu Sui's head directly hit the ground. I don't deserve to be called Master. Master, please continue to protect Miss Aster. As long as Master can continue to protect Miss Aster, Zhu Sui is willing to pay any price. She was really a loyal master and servant. Naruto replied, Stand up and talk. Even if the commander of the Shrine of the Country of Ghosts saw the great name of the Country of Ghosts, he shouldn't need to be so polite, right? Zhu Sui continued to kneel. Miss Aster will soon go to the place where the demon's body is sealed. Zhu Sui sincerely asks Master to continue to protect Miss Aster. Naruto asked, Your miss has already asked me to leave. It's not good for me to follow her, right? Zhu Sui quickly said, You can protect her secretly. You only need to act when Miss Aster's life is in danger. Naruto looked at Zhu Sui with a smile. I heard that the Witch of the Country of Ghosts' death prediction is very accurate. Zhu Sui hesitated, but in the end, she still told the truth. Until now, it has never been wrong. Speaking of this, Zhu Sui's face became a bit gloomy. Naruto said to Preserved Egg in his mind, He's also a good person. It's really rare that he doesn't lie. Preserved Egg was speechless. Do you really want to prove that you're a bad person? Naruto shamelessly praised himself. I'm a good person that's hard to come by in 10,000 years. Preserved Egg subconsciously ridiculed, Good people never say that they're good, just like bad people don't say that they're bad. Naruto. Inside the room. Naruto looked at Zhu Sui who was still kneeling on the ground. He said, Since you know that I'm going to die, how much do you think my life is worth? Zhu Sui raised her head and said affirmatively, As long as Zhu Sui can do it, I'm willing to pay any price. Hinata happened to pass by outside Naruto's room. She didn't mean to, but she heard the conversation in the room clearly. She couldn't say that she was passing by. It should be said that Hinata originally planned to look for Naruto. Just now, Hinata looked for the waiter who sold the information to Naruto and asked about the death prediction. From the waiter's mouth, Hinata heard a lot of shocking supernatural events. This time, she came back to persuade Naruto to leave the country of ghosts. Chapter 570. The Thing I Want. Naruto's pause made Zhu Sui's heart skip a beat. But at the same time, a trace of hope rose in his heart. In Zhu Sui's opinion, with a request, there was hope. But in the next moment, Naruto shook his head with a bitter smile. You can't afford it. Was he rejected? Zhu Sui's face turned ashen. She didn't expect Naruto to take another turn. However, Aide-sama-san is a kind and rare good girl, so I won't just stand by and watch. Zhu Sui was truly grateful to his parents for giving him a good heart when he was born. Otherwise, he would have been tormented to death today. You mean, You're willing to continue protecting Miss Astor? Naruto nodded with a smile. Zhu Sui was overjoyed and hurriedly kowtowed. Just as his head was about to hit the ground, a delicate shout exploded in his ears. I don't agree. Hinata, who was at the door, couldn't help but rush in. Zhu Sui's mood could be said to be like a dog. Just as he was about to succeed after begging his grandfather and grandmother for help, there was a sudden twist in the situation. If not for his good self-restraint, being born in the temple and growing up with the shaman, he would have already cursed. Zhu Sui turned his head to look at the door. Naruto also looked over. Hinata rushed in. It was rare to see Hinata so agitated. Worried about me? Don't worry, there won't be a problem. Hinata had prepared a lot of things to say on the way back, but she didn't know what to say. Naruto looked at Zhu Sui, who was still kneeling on the ground. Commander, I've already agreed to your request. You can leave now. Agreed. Zhu Sui thanked him again and hurriedly got up to leave. If he stayed any longer, he was afraid that he would be tortured to death before the death prophecy came true. After Zhu Sui left, there were no outsiders in the room. Naruto walked to Hinata's side and pinched Hinata's face. What's wrong? It's not like you to frown. Hinata lowered her head and pinched the corner of her clothes. Naruto-kun, leave the land of demons. Hinata went to ask a lot of people just now, and the person who just left said that the death prophecy was real. So, within Naruto's body, the 9 tails sealed space. Preserved Egg also tried to persuade him, what's wrong with you today? You've had enough of being a bad guy and want to be a good guy for once? Naruto rolled his eyes at Preserved Egg. I am a good person. If you want to be a bad person, you can be the bad guy yourself. Preserved Egg's snow-white fox head had a solemn expression. He confirmed again, have you decided? Naruto replied, I've decided. Piggy was so angry that he opened his mouth and bit his own tail. Then, he spoke again, you should know that what's scary isn't the bell that's tainted by karma, nor is it the prophecy of death. Instead, it's having the will of this world discover your identity. Naruto said nonchalantly, so what if it's discovered? After the 3 tails is captured, it's not difficult to revive the 10 tails. Didn't you say that after analyzing the 10 tails chakra, the will of this world is nothing to be afraid of? Preserved Egg looked up at the sky and thought about it. It was indeed so. All right then. Actually, if you succeed in this matter, it's not like there are no benefits. Preserved Egg stopped persuading Naruto. Instead, he began to think about the benefits. He was indeed a fox raised by Naruto. Naruto was puzzled. Benefits? What benefits? I've never heard of any benefits from you before. Preserved Egg said matter-of-factly, of course, I couldn't tell you before. If I told you, you would only see the benefits. Naruto's curiosity was piqued. He urged, don't talk nonsense. Tell me what the benefits are. Preserved Egg explained, the benefit is that you will be blessed by the world. Seeing that Naruto didn't understand, Preserved Egg continued to explain, simply put, it will increase your luck. From now on, the heavens will protect you. If you have no money, you don't need to earn it. You can pick up money by lowering your head. If you gamble, you won't need to bring out the small ones. There was such a good thing? Naruto's eyes lit up. Preserved Egg didn't forget to pour cold water on him. The premise is that you won't be discovered. If you are discovered, you will choke to death by drinking cold water. Do you believe that you will never need to bring seasoning when eating instant noodles? Naruto, don't worry. In order to not eat instant noodles without seasoning, I will work hard. Naruto's face was solemn. Preserved Egg's face was filled with curses. Preserved Egg. If there was still hope to persuade Naruto before, there was no hope now. Was it wrong or right to do this? Well, Preserved Egg comforted himself by saying that many things in this world couldn't be measured by right or wrong. As for Hinata, it would be troublesome to deal with her. The periphery of the land of demons. Hinata Ninji, hidden in the dense forest, stared closely at Hinata with Byakugan. Another ninja from Kumogakure was found. Sasai took a pen and recorded a few words on the scroll. What are the characteristics of his ability? Hinata Ningji replied, I haven't found it yet. There is chakra in his body, and he is in contact with number 1. Number 1 was the code name given to Naruto by Hinata Ningji and Sasai. Sasai nodded and put away the scroll. Then continued to observe. Hinata Ningji removed the Byakugan and began to rest. 10 minutes later, he opened his eyes again. 4 invading ninjas are dead. Miko-sama and her entourage entered a secret passage leading to a waterfall. It seems that they want to secretly leave the land of demons. Number 1 disappeared. There are 2 female ninjas and a guard of the lookout. Sasai's pen quickly recorded on the scroll. After writing, he whistled. A messenger eagle landed on Sasai's wrist. When Sasai put the heart into the bucket behind the messenger eagle spread its wings and flew out in the direction of Woodleaf. The messenger eagle flew away, and the 2 disappeared in place. However, neither of them noticed that a brown dragonhawk with a pair of Sharingan had caught up with the messenger eagle above them. Then the messenger eagle changed direction and went into the dense forest. Finally, it landed in front of a person. Number 1? Who is it? A Kumogakure ninja with Byakugan eyes? Why didn't I see it? Appearance description. Isn't this me? But I didn't see Byakugan eyes. But this misunderstanding can be solved. A pig with a necklace. This isn't Dolphin, is it? Well, it seems that Woodleaf found out about Shizuku. When the identity is verified, it seems impossible to live an ordinary life. So what to do? It's useless to keep the information scroll for this kind of thing. When Hinata Ningji and Sasai return, they will report another mission. He can't hide it. If he wants to hide it completely, he has to deal with Hinata Ningji and Sasai now. But not to mention anything else, Hinata Ningji is his brother-in-law. Well, his future brother-in-law. Of course, he can also catch them and bring them to the snow country. Then what? Let them raise masters in the snow country? There are enough masters in the snow country now. Naruto has no plans to catch them and bring them to the snow country. These 2 are not Pokemon, and he's not Pocket Master. There's no need to collect every strange Xenogeneic. Let's see Shizuku first and let her decide for herself. Compared to bringing his brother-in-law to the snow country, Naruto feels that bringing Shizuku to the snow country is more fun. There's also Shizuku's pig-riding son. Chapter 571. There was one more piece of information that Hinata Ningji didn't say. When he was reading the lips, he seemed to see the words Naruto and Hinata. Which Hinata is Hinata? Hinata? What about Naruto? Vortex Naruto? If that girl is Hinata, that explained why number 1 used the gentle fist. The only doubt left was the supercilious eye. In Hinata Ningji's opinion, if you want to use the gentle fist, you must have eyes that can see through the human body. This is the prerequisite for using the gentle fist. So, where did number 1 get the Byakugan? Kumogakure? If that's the case, then it's a big deal. Therefore, Hinata Ningji didn't dare to say this information without conclusive evidence. Just when Hinata Ningji was thinking about number 1's identity, Naruto came to Shizen's house with the Flying Thunder God Jutsu. Shizun Wani-san, have you made a decision? Naruto's sudden appearance startled Shizen. You? Why did you suddenly appear in the house? Shizun was sewing clothes for her angry son at this time. Naruto turned sideways to let Shizun see the mark on the wall. It was a small word, fate. Shizun couldn't believe it. Isn't this the Flying Thunder God Jutsu? You learned the Flying Thunder God Jutsu? Naruto nodded. Shizun took a deep breath and sighed, as expected of the son of Yondaime Naruto-sama. But I don't see the Ein seal mark on your forehead. Did you give up learning Tsunade-sama's ninjutsu? Tsunade-sama didn't slap you. Not to mention that Naruto hasn't condensed the seal of the Een seal until now. Tsuna really has a lot of opinions. Naruto helplessly curled his lips. You can't blame me. I've been condensing chakra for the past few years, but the Een seal hasn't come out. I can't help it. Speaking of this matter, it was all so strange. According to Naruto's expectations, the one thing he didn't lack the least was chakra. However, the funny thing was that the Een seal that he condensed was like a bottomless pit. It kept swallowing chakra, but it was still not complete. Sister Jing-een, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you. Have you made your decision? Jing-een put down the needlework in her hands. Me? As you can see, I'm just an ordinary housewife now. I usually sew clothes, cook, and take care of the children. So, it's the same no matter where I am. Naruto nodded in understanding and agreed. Sister Jing-een's life is actually pretty good. To tell you the truth, there was a time in the past when I really wanted to live like this. I and Sister Tsunade also respect your choice. However, Naruto took out the enlarged version of Wood Leaf's information scroll. This is the enlarged version of Wood Leaf's information scroll. Take a look. After looking at the scroll, Jing-een's expression changed slightly. What's recorded on it is true. Naruto shook his head and said, the information on it was indeed sent back to the village by Wood Leaf, but a lot of the information is false. For example, they said that I'm a ninja of Kumogakure, and that I have the Byakugan. Seeing that Jing-een didn't believe it, Naruto took off the blindfold, revealing the Sharingan inside. You see, this is a Sharingan, not a Byakugan. Jing-een lowered her head as soon as she saw the 3 Tomo Sharingan. You don't have to show it to me. Naruto smiled and said, it's okay. I didn't intend to lie to Sister Jing-een. I didn't say a lot of things before, mainly because I didn't want to bring trouble to Sister Jing-een. Jing-een asked, so, where do you belong now? Not Kumogakure? At this point, there was nothing to hide. Naruto replied, no, it's the Snow Country. Jing-een's hand held the scroll tightly. Let me think about it again. Naruto nodded in understanding. At this time, there was a voice outside the house. Mommy. Mama. The cry of Mama. Soon, a small child the size of a bean ran into the room. Naruto looked at the child who came in. The baby was fair and chubby, with delicate features and round eyes. He was very cute. Beside the child was a half-grown pig wearing clothes and a necklace. Jing-een waved to the child. Come here, meet you. Jing-een hesitated. Naruto nodded and said, it's okay, my name is not afraid of being exposed. But Jing-een didn't say the name again. Come and meet brother. The baby was very obedient and called out in a childish voice, Big brother. Naruto was happy to be called. He reached into his pocket and took out some candy and a pendant. After the child got the candy, he happily sent it to Jing-een. Seeing her son so obedient, Jing-een also smiled, Thank you, brother. Then, the baby said in a childish voice, Thank you, big brother. Naruto raised his hand and touched the child's head, and put the necklace on the child. Jing-een saw the jade pendant and opened her mouth to refuse, but the other party was Tsunade's disciple, and according to the relationship, they were not far from each other. So she didn't refuse again. On the side, Dolphin was humming and asking for candy from Jing-een. Naruto patted Dolphin's head. Sure enough, you're a pig, you only know how to eat. As a ninja beast, Dolphin's head can't be patted by anyone. At the moment, a pair of small pig eyes stared at Naruto. Naruto smiled and said, Why, you don't recognize me? It stands to reason that a pig's nose should have a good sense of smell, right? Naruto teased Dolphin. In fact, Naruto's aura changed after swallowing Nine Tails chakra, and after fusing with Shodai cells, it was even more different. To say that he has a pig's nose, even a dog's nose is not enough. Naruto suddenly took out a candy with a smirk and waved it in front of Dolphin's eyes. Dolphin's expression instantly changed. What did he smell? The smell of fart candy. Damn it! Why does this still exist? Then this person. Dolphin took a few steps back in fright. You remember? Naruto put away the candy again. Dolphin hid behind Jing-in with a whoosh. Naruto praised, that's a good reaction. Then he ignored Dolphin and teased the child. For the first time, Naruto found that children were actually quite fun. White, fat, and chubby. And so obedient. How about giving birth to one? Hinata is already 16 years old. Naruto showed a thoughtful expression. Spiritual network. Naruto found Hinata. Is everything going well? Hinata replied, there is no danger so far. Then Hinata asked Naruto, what about Shizune-san? She was asking about Shizune's choice. Naruto told her about his encounter with Wood Leaf Ninja. Don't use Byakugan or Gentle Fist. Let Wood Leaf continue to treat us as Kumogakure Ninja. Hinata hesitated. I seem to have called you Naruto before. I also call myself Hinata, Naruto replied. It doesn't matter. Wood Leaf's information scroll hasn't recorded it yet. Although that's what he said, there are still loopholes. For example, Naruto's appearance. Others can't think of Naruto, but Kakashi is different. Kakashi has seen his current appearance. Long red hair, left eye patch. For this, Naruto decided to change his appearance more in the future and give Kakashi a fake. Chapter 572. That night, Shizune's husband returned home. Shizune's husband was the kind of honest person that could be seen with his eyes. He had an ordinary appearance, a tall figure, and gave off the feeling of a big, silly man. Naruto simply greeted him and took the child to play. Shizune was left alone to discuss moving with her husband. Spiritual network. Naruto shared the image of Shizune's child with the public chat. Tsunade-san, this is Shizune's child, isn't he cute? Tsunade praised, so cute, the little guy's skin is so white, does he not go out often? Naruto then told her about the first time he saw the little guy. Tsunade also laughed when she heard about the pig riding incident. Tsunade-san, wait a moment, I'll share that scene as well. Then Naruto copied the scene from his memory and shared it with the public chat. It affected the playback. The door of Shizune's home was suddenly burst open from the inside. A fierce domestic pig rushed out with a white and clean little boy on its back. The little boy was tightly hugging a piglet with a necklace in his arms to prevent himself from falling. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! The little boy shouted in a panic with his childish voice, and then Naruto and Hinata turned around. They saw smoke rising, and the little guy flew away in front of their eyes. Everyone in the public chat was amused by this scene. Tsunade sighed, the little guy is only 4.5 years old, right? How can a 4.5-year-old be so sturdy? Tsunade could also see that the main reason the little boy was able to ride the pig without getting injured was because of Dolphin's protection. But even so, it was enough to exclaim, Naruto, when are you going to have a child? Such a magical turn of events caused the public chat to fall silent. Naruto wasn't shy and replied, that depends on Hinata. Everyone cheered him on. Hinata couldn't resist everyone's enthusiasm and left the public chat to be embarrassed by herself. At this time, Shizune walked out of her room. Naruto left the public chat. He asked Mute, have you decided? Mute looked very relaxed now. He nodded with a smile. Some civilians don't agree with the identity of a ninja. Take Bai's parents for example. Fortunately, that didn't happen to Mute. He knew about it a long time ago. He just pretended not to know. It's been hard on him. When the little guy saw his mother come out, he ran over and called out in a childish voice, Mommy. Then, when it's convenient, I'll take you away. Naruto looked at Mute. Shizune looked around. His eyes were filled with reluctance. It doesn't matter to us. He doesn't have anyone left in his family. Our family only has the 3 of us to rely on. Take us away whenever it's convenient for you. Naruto probed. So, now? Jingin was shocked. So urgent? Naruto could tell that Shizen was reluctant to leave this home. He smiled and said, "It doesn't matter if you wait a day or two. This matter could be considered to have been settled." Naruto immediately told Tsunade about it. On the night of the third day, Naruto arranged for Shizen's family to leave. The teleportation circle was opened. Naruto took Shizen to the snow country. Their residence was arranged with the villagers of Takigakure. Before Naruto left, Shizen's husband found Naruto. "Naruto, Sama, can I talk to you alone?" Shizen's husband was shocked by Naruto's means. Naruto smiled kindly and said, "You don't have to be so polite. Just call me Naruto." Shizen's husband still refused to change. Naruto didn't insist. "Let's talk about it. Naruto, Sama, thank you for doing this for our family. I really don't know how to repay you." Unlike Shizen was reluctant to leave her family's farmhouse. But this husband preferred the prosperity of the snow country. Naruto nodded. "It's a small matter. I feel that Fujiwara-san has to leave his hometown." Shizen's husband hurriedly bowed. Naruto waved his hand and said, "Live well, treat Shizen well, and treat the children well." "Well, I don't want to say more. I feel that it's strange for me to say this." Naruto turned his head and said, "Yugao, come here and help them with the household registration." Coincidentally, when Naruto came back this time, he happened to see Yugao idle again. Maybe he was used to it. Yugao also liked this kind of task without any nutrition. At the same time, Zu died. It was a strange death, and Hinata led everyone to go around the mountain. At the foot of the mountain was the stone army marching to the country of demons. Zu was originally climbing the mountain, but suddenly fell down the mountain and was directly stabbed to death by the stone people below. This scene was the same as the death illusion that Asta saw. Spiritual network. "Hinata, open the barrier, I will directly teleport to your side." Hinata replied, "Naruto-kun. Let's not. It's fine if it's just me here." Hearing Hinata's tone, Naruto felt that something had happened. He directly asked, "Did someone die?" Hinata hesitated for a moment and said it. "I heard Miss Astor scolding Zu a few days ago. She said that if he continued to stay by her side, he would die sooner or later. Just now, Zu Sui died. I asked Miss Astor, she said that she saw Zu Sui's death illusion before." Naruto-kun. Naruto was not surprised by Zu Sui's death. Because according to the development of the original world, Zu Sui would also die. "Where are you?" Hinata replied, "We've arrived, but the entrance is surrounded by stone people, it's not easy to go in. Also, Asta's mood seems to be unstable, she doesn't want me to bring her in." Naruto comforted Hinata, then opened the barrier. "Don't worry, I'll be fine. Didn't I tell you my plan? It's very safe." Seeing that Hinata ignored him, Naruto directly said, "If you ignore me, I'll go directly." At that time, more things will be exposed, which will be disadvantageous to me. In the end, Hinata opened the barrier. Naruto used Hinata as the spatial coordinate and teleported to Hinata's side. He lovingly pinched Hinata's face. Then his body merged into the ground. He approached Aster from a distance using Earthmeld, creating the illusion that he used Earthmeld to catch up. "You don't look very happy." Naruto appeared beside Aster. Aster was slightly surprised. At this time, Naruto's appearance had been slightly adjusted. Whether it was the color of his hair, the length of his hair, or the shape of his face, they had all changed. However, the moment Aster saw Naruto's eyes, she recognized them. To be more precise, she recognized that Naruto's left eye was wearing an eye patch. Her mood became agitated because of this. "You didn't leave?" Naruto said with a smile, "I left for a while to do some things, then came back." Then, without waiting for Aster to speak, Naruto continued, "The destination is in front, right? I'll take you in and then leave." Aster hesitated for a while and then sighed. Whatever. I just saw their death illusions. Since you're here, let them leave. Chapter 573. Hinata's Illusion of Death. Naruto dared to bet his own life, but Hinata's spiritual network. Naruto contacted Hinata and said, "Hinata, Wood Leaf Ninja is nearby, I have a very important task for you." If he wants to send Hinata away, he must do so. Hinata was worried about Naruto at this time, and hearing Naruto's words, she asked with uncertainty, "What task?" Naruto explained, "I want you to interfere with Hinata Ninji, you can't let his Byakugan stare at me all the time." Hinata didn't want to agree. If Naruto insisted on entering the cave, she wanted to follow by Naruto's side. The scene of Zu Sui dying behind her was too strange. It was obviously not a very steep cliff. Any ordinary person would not fall down. Moreover, Zu Sui was the guard commander of the Witch of the Land of Ghosts. She still had basic skills, but she still died. Naruto continued, "There's one more thing, Hinata Ninji has seen your appearance. Although Hinata Ninji didn't recognize you for a while, it's inevitable that he will think in this direction in the future. Didn't you say that you called my name, and also called yourself Hinata? So, in order to get rid of this hidden danger, you have to deal with Hinata Ninji. Wear a mask, don't use the Byakugan, and don't use Taijutsu, and fight with the opponent with ninjutsu. This way, Hinata Ninji won't associate you with Hinata. Hinata said with uncertainty, "Naruto-kun, then you..." Naruto comforted her, "You still don't know my ability, not to mention other things. If I say that my ability to escape is second in this world, no one would dare to say that they are first." Naruto continued to change the topic. "When you go to fight Hinata Ninji in a while, it's best to make him run away, and then chase after him all the way. You must not give him time to breathe. Also, in order to avoid exposing your identity, you can't say a word to him. And you have to wear a mask. Remember." Hinata obediently replied, "Yes, I will." Naruto was very satisfied. "Then go beat up Hinata Ninji." Naruto stood beside Hinata, pointed in the direction where Hinata Ninji was hiding and said, "Northwest, 1 kilometer away." This scene also fell into Niji's eyes. After reading the famous person's lips, he exclaimed, "Shift! The opponent has discovered us. This guy really has Byakugan." As soon as Hinata Ninji moved, Naruto hurriedly shouted, "Go, the opponent is running away." Hinata couldn't care about anything else, and hurriedly followed Naruto's words and chased after him. Spiritual network, Naruto-kun, you must come back alive. If you die, I will come and find you. As soon as the words ended, 2 curse seals appeared on Hinata's legs, and with the blessing of the curse seals, Hinata's speed suddenly increased. Looking at this scene, Naruto finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Brother-in-law, I'm sorry this time, for your sister's safety, it's not a loss for you to take a beating." Naruto mourned for Hinata Ninji for a second. Naruto didn't doubt the difference in strength between Hinata and Hinata Ninji. Although he didn't know why the first-generation cell didn't let Hinata open the Tensigen, it was absolutely comprehensive for Hinata's improvement. Moreover, Hinata can also use the curse seal power that Naruto is very envious of. As for combat experience, Hinata has been practicing with Naruto every day for 3 years. With Naruto, the omnipotent ninja, Hinata's combat experience is really abundant. After Hinata went to beat Hinata Ninji, Naruto said to the other girl, "You wait here obediently, I will take Lady Aster to the sealed place." The girl, the female ninja named Lynx, glanced at Naruto with a blank expression. Then she looked at Aster. The meaning was very clear. "Who do you think you are? My employer is not you." Naruto touched his nose awkwardly. Aster nodded and said, "You stay here to support us, don't get close to the cave." After that, Naruto directly picked up Aster and said, "Sorry, it's faster this way." After saying that, a flying sword flew out of Naruto's body and pierced straight to the cave entrance of the sealed place. At the same time, 2 more doppelgangers appeared beside Naruto. Flying Thunder God Jutsu. The next moment, Naruto took Aster and disappeared from the top of the mountain. This scene made the female ninja who didn't care about Naruto widen her eyes. She looked around in panic, trying to find Naruto and Aster's figure, but she couldn't find them. At the same time, Naruto landed on the flying sword with Aster in his arms. The flying sword carried the two of them in the cave, and the surrounding rock walls passed by quickly in front of their eyes, making them dizzy. Aster hugged Naruto tightly in panic. Rushing into the cave, their eyes suddenly brightened. Red light rose from the ground. "You're finally here. I've been waiting for you for a long time." A gust of hot air blew on their faces, making them feel hot and painful. Naruto looked at the ground in front of him. Under the rock pillar, there was bubbling magma. At the end of the magma, there was a long-haired man sitting on the ground with his hand on his cheek. That man was Yomi. Naruto had seen him in the memories of the four ninjas. "Since you're here, why are you still standing there? Come and seal me." The muffled sound of rocks hitting each other echoed. Several stone men walked towards Naruto and Aster step by step. Aster came back to her senses and said, "Put me down and go." Naruto put down Aster as he said. However, he didn't leave. Instead, he discussed with Preserved Egg, "Should I tell Aster that the bell on her body was sealed by her mother?" The bell on Aster's body was a seal. It absorbed the life of the people around her to seal Aster's power. The reason why Aster could see the illusion of death and the reason why the people around her died was related to this bell. Because Aster's power was too strong, the previous generations which was worried that Aster would become the next Yomi and bring disaster to the world. This wasn't information that Naruto had gathered. It was because he had seen the movie version of the Country of Demons and knew the development of the incident in advance. Preserved Egg replied, "I can't say, things have to go with the flow, otherwise, it will easily attract the attention of the world's will. You have to be careful, other places don't matter, but this place is under the eyes of the world's will." Naruto helplessly replied, "All right." Naruto's flying sword swept past several stone men that were walking towards them. The stone men were smashed into pieces and scattered on the ground. Aster was very nervous, but after seeing the stone men were destroyed, she sighed in relief and pushed Naruto. "You go, I'll do it myself." At this time, Yomi also noticed Naruto. "It seems that some unnecessary ants have come in. But since you're here, don't leave." A thick tentacle suddenly stretched out from the magma and stabbed towards Naruto. The moment she saw the tentacle, Aster's eyes widened. She had seen this tentacle before, in the illusion of death. She had seen Naruto die under this tentacle. His chest was pierced and he died. The tip of the tentacle was very thin and sharp, and it stabbed towards Naruto. The sword of Kusanagi appeared in Naruto's hand, and he slashed with it. The sword energy turned into energy, and the violent and compressed chakra current slashed through the tentacle, cutting off a long section of the tentacle's front end. Naruto didn't care. "It's nothing." The magma tumbled, and something seemed to be struggling in pain below. Then, dozens of tentacles stretched out from the magma. Chapter 574. Several tentacles attacked Naruto. But the moment they got close to Naruto, the bell on Aster's body lit up with a purple light. All the incoming tentacles were repelled back. Aster's face was filled with disbelief as she watched this scene with wide eyes. Huang Quan smiled and said, "You seem very surprised. Don't you know the power you have? Don't you know I can't attack you? I really don't know what you've been learning these past few years." Compared to Aster's shock, Huang Quan was much calmer, as if he had already expected this. Aster recovered after hearing Huang Quan's words. "I've been learning sealing techniques every day for the past few years." Huang Quan sneered. "Is that so? Why don't you seal me and let me see your cultivation level?" Aster turned to Naruto and said, "You can go. He can't hurt me." Hearing this, the corner of Huang Quan's mouth curled up into a smile from 100 meters away. The demon under the magma attacked again, but this time it didn't attack Naruto, but the tunnel they came from. The mountain collapsed and the tunnel was blocked. Huang Quan smiled insolently and said, I said you can't leave, so don't think about leaving. Miko maiden, why don't you seal me instead? But only you can pass through the sealing array. If you want to protect him, you will never be able to seal me. Asta clenched her fists, as if she was having a fierce struggle in her heart. She wanted to enter the sealing array to seal the demon. This was her mission as a witch. But if she entered the sealing array, she wouldn't be able to continue protecting Naruto. She had seen too many deaths that she couldn't control. This time, she finally had the ability to protect the people around her. She really didn't want to see anyone die for her. Naruto raised his hand and placed it on Asta's head. Asta's body stiffened and she raised her head to look at Naruto. Naruto had a carefree expression and said with a smile, Don't forget how I brought you in. This place can't trap me. You should go and do what you need to do. Asta was pleasantly surprised. You can leave this place? Naruto smiled. His body suddenly disappeared and reappeared on the flying sword. The visual impact of teleportation from a space ninjutsu is great. Naruto stood on the flying sword and replied, Don't worry. If I want to leave, I can leave at any time. But I've taken a fancy to something, so I don't want to leave yet. Yellow Spring stared at Naruto and asked, What is your relationship with Woodleaf's Yellow Flash? Yellow Flash was the title of the fourth Naruto. Naruto was a little surprised. This was the first time someone had asked him such a question. However, Naruto was not prepared to answer. Instead, he smiled and said, Take a guess. Yomi's expression turned gloomy, and the monster under the lava became restless. The monster under the magma was part of the monster's body that had been sealed. Because the seal hadn't been completely lifted, they couldn't leave the place where they were sealed. For a time, hundreds of tentacles stretched out from the magma and attacked Naruto at the same time. Preserved Egg in Naruto's body saw this scene and shouted excitedly, So many claws! Quick! Cut them all down and take them away! The thing that Naruto wanted was the monster's body. Preserved Egg said that this monster was also a great supplement for him. However, because the world's will was watching here, Preserved Egg couldn't eat it here. So, he thought of a compromise and took it away. Hundreds of tentacles attacked Naruto. Naruto stepped on the flying sword and flew to the top of the cave. His purpose was naturally to make these claws as long as possible. Naruto called out the system's warehouse interface, selected the steel balls, and adjusted the number of steel balls by 100. These were all done by Naruto in an instant. Summon. Naruto's left-hand puppet core seal extended 100 puppet lines and connected them to the steel balls. Naruto's hand seals. Steel release. Flying sword doppelganger technique. 100 special steel balls the size of a fist then transformed into flying swords. And on the hilt of these swords, there was the word, life. This was the Flying Thunder God technique that Naruto used the puppet lines to cast a long-distance spell on the swords. Flying Thunder God technique. Teleport. In the next moment, 100 flying swords were teleported to the bottom of the cave by Naruto. There was a flying sword that was flying at a low altitude. Slash. The flying sword flashed, and the sword shadows crisscrossed. More than 100 tentacles stretched out towards Naruto, and the flying sword formation below cut across the ground. It was like a sickle that was stuck to the root of a leek and sliced it. The 100 tentacles were all cut off. Naruto's hand seals. The flying sword changed from a sword form to a human form, and its hands transformed and extended like ropes. It hugged the tentacles and flew towards Naruto. Soon, the hundreds of tentacles were collected by Naruto. The change was too fast. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Huang Quan was sitting on the side, waiting to watch the show. His expression didn't change, but it was already over. Rich. Rich. Preserved Egg's eyes were glowing as he muttered to himself. At the same time, he urged Naruto, Quick, another wave. That guy should still have a lot of tentacles. The demon's soul was still inside Huang Quan's body, but the pain caused the demon to struggle violently. Several rock pillars in the cave collapsed as a result. Naruto glanced at Asta. The purple light emitted by the bell on Asta's body protected her very well, so there was no need to worry. Naruto taunted Huang Quan. Your ability is nothing special, do you dare to show me something powerful? Huang Quan's voice changed, his eyes were bloodshot as he roared, You dare to cut this sovereign's body? I'm going to kill you. I must kill you. This person wasn't Huang Quan, but the demon inside Huang Quan's body. Magma surged as dozens of tentacles reached out. However, the tentacles that reached out this time were different from the previous ones. This time, to be precise, they weren't tentacles, each of them had a head. They looked like snake heads. Naruto slashed with his sword. Ding! Ordinary flying swords couldn't cut through. Preserved Egg didn't feel threatened. His face became even happier. Great nourishment. This is even more nourishing. Quickly chop them down. The snake heads attacked. Naruto used the Flying Thunder God technique to teleport and evade the attack. Although ordinary flying sword can't cause damage to this snake-headed thing, the Flying Thunder God jutsu can allow Naruto to teleport to any place in the cave. Whether it was dodging or attacking, he could advance and retreat freely. This time, Naruto held his sword of Kusanagi and slashed with all his strength. Chakra burst. Swift escape. Extreme speed. Mist escape. Lightning cloak protection. At this moment, Naruto looked like a ray of light. His sword was incomparably gorgeous. Creak. The scales on the snake heads shattered under Naruto's attack, and the sword pierced through the flesh. It was chopped down. Naruto kept the snake heads in Preserved Egg space. A painful wail came from the mouths of the other snake heads. Preserved Egg urged Naruto, Quick! Quick! Don't stop! Speed up and continue! He increased his speed and used the mist escape to protect himself. Naruto slashed with his sword again. His momentum was boundless, like a rainbow piercing through the sun. This time, Naruto calculated the angle and could chop down several snakes at once. Chop! Huang Quan was furious and roared, Enough! Naruto didn't listen, sweeping from one end of the cave to the other. Then he turned back. One harvest. One recovery. Asta couldn't help but be mesmerized by his smooth movements. It was obviously a very bloody scene. Blood mist rose in the space, and the smell of burnt meat echoed in the surroundings. But Asta still felt that it was very handsome and beautiful. It seemed that there was no need for her to seal. This person in front of her could easily kill the demons. However, the demons didn't give Naruto a chance to retract their bodies after Naruto's harvest. Miko! What are you waiting for? Why aren't you sealing me? Asta was speechless. Chapter 575. Hey! Don't tell me that's all you've got? Come again? Didn't you say that you were going to kill me? You have to keep your word. How about this? I'll let you use one hand and you can try again. Who knows, you might succeed. Naruto began to verbally attack Yomi with a serious face. Yomi's face became darker and darker, and the veins on his forehead bulged. Even so, he did not attack Naruto. Instead, he urged the Miko, What are you waiting for? Didn't you come here to seal me? The Miko looked at Naruto. Inside Naruto's body, Preserved Egg suggested, Try threatening his body. Naruto approached Acheron, but he was blocked by a layer of barrier. The barrier seemed to have appeared suddenly, and the system did not announce it. Yomi's face darkened as he looked at Naruto, who was just inches away from him. You can't enter this place. The talisman lines on Naruto's hand twisted and extended from his fingers to the barrier. Naruto wanted to break the barrier, but he found that he could not connect to it at all. This was the first time that Naruto had seen such a barrier. Preserved Egg, what's the matter with this barrier? Preserved Egg looked at the barrier with a disappointed expression. The barrier is located in a different space-time from us. What? Naruto asked suspiciously, How did it block me when we're not in the same space-time? Preserved Egg. It's a special rule. You won't understand it even if I explain it to you. Simply put, you can also swallow this world. Naruto asked, then, can you eat this barrier? Preserved Egg was so disappointed that he laid down and rested his head on his long fox tail. Yes, but I can't eat it. So there's no other way? Naruto awkwardly took a step back. He scratched his head and turned to Z1, go and seal him. Z1 nodded obediently and walked toward Yomi. Naruto didn't stay in the same place. The Flying Thunder God technique disappeared and he returned to the entrance, sitting on the pile of rubble. When Aster entered the barrier blocking Naruto, a ripple appeared in the air. The ripples are very weak. If it wasn't for the Sharingan, most people wouldn't be able to detect it. Aster glanced at Huang Quan warily, but Huang Quan continued to sit on the same spot. There was a creepy smile in his eyes. Then let me tell you. I can't kill you, but you don't have the power to make me disappear. If you want to know why, it's because we originally had the same physical body. Aster was startled. She shouted, are you kidding? Are you trying to confuse me with such lies? Huang Quan, or more accurately, Wang Liang. His voice was low and hoarse, and his face was black. Do I need to lie to you? Aster's hair stood on end from that gaze. She quickly turned around and walked towards the sealing array behind Yellow Spring. Right now, I'll immediately. Before Z1 could finish speaking, Huang Quan interrupted her. The so-called seal is to combine you and me into one. Aster quickened her pace, brushed past Huang Quan, and walked into the array behind Huang Quan. Ripples appeared in the air again. Huang Quan's eyes turned, followed Aster, and continued, your mother Mithraea is like this. Hearing him mention her mother, Aster couldn't help but look over. Why didn't she dare to look at Huang Quan's eyes? Because she had a feeling in her heart, the other party didn't seem to be lying. This was the witch's intuition, but Aster didn't want to believe it at this time. Huang Quan continued, so, your mother Mithraea is now inside my body. The power of a witch. Huang Quan was about to continue, but Aster didn't want to listen anymore. She opened her palm and raised it. Release. Array. Release. Aster raised her hand and pointed to the sky. The array was triggered. The 4 stone balls lit up with a purple halo and slowly rose up. Then an invisible force attached to Aster's body, lifting her up and suspending her in the air. Aster continued to cast her spell. Under the command of the runes, the array changed again. Stone platforms rose up one after another. But at this time, Huang Quan's body suddenly rushed into the array. His head was resting on Aster's shoulder. Aster was frightened by Huang Quan's face and the sudden change. She retreated. Huang Quan's body didn't continue to follow her. Instead, he fell to the ground. After Huang Quan's body fell to the ground, the veins on his body bulged, his eyes rolled up, and his muscles couldn't help but twitch. Huang Quan died, but the voice didn't disappear. You're really impatient, witch. If you want to open the barrier, you have to wait for this guy to die first. It's to enter this place. To enter this place? Aster was shocked and turned to look at the core of the seal. It was a stone box that looked like a small house with 2 doors facing upwards. Underneath the door was Wang Liang's body. Originally, this door existed to extract Wang Liang's soul. But today, Wang Liang's soul is going to return to his body through this door. Aster ran and used her body to block the door. Huang Quan's body twisted. His stomach was pushed up by an invisible force. A black fog rushed out from inside. Wang Liang's soul rushed out of Huang Quan's body. Together with chakra, it formed a storm of death. Aster's body that was leaning against the stone door was blown away and crashed into the barrier. But Huang Quan's body was blown away. A thick black fog went into the stone door. Wang Liang's voice echoed in Aster's ears. Once the barrier is opened, we won't be able to leave until we occupy the other side. Aster stood up from the ground. Wang Liang's voice was very harsh. I am deeply grateful to you. Because to unlock this shrine seal, you can't do it without you. Asta stared blankly at the stone door. What exactly am I doing? Tears flowed uncontrollably from her eyes. Up until now, what was it for? Ever since she was born, she had been preparing for this day. Every day, she trained in sealing techniques. But now, Wang Liang no longer cared about the Miko and spoke to Naruto. It's your turn now. The cave trembled as a tentacle came out. No, to be precise, it wasn't a tentacle, nor was it a snake head. The snake head had turned into a dragon head. The array beneath Asta collapsed, and she fell inside. At the same time, several tentacles with dragon heads also appeared in front of Naruto and attacked Naruto. A threat. A sense of fear rose from his heart. Naruto used Flying Thunder God technique to disappear. The dragon head roared. The black chakra wrapped around the dragon head and body. The ominous aura of chakra was even more ominous than 9 tails. Don't run, try and cut me in half again if you can. Wang Liang's voice came from all directions. Didn't you like my body a lot? Come on then. Why are you running? The dragon head chased after Naruto, tearing apart all the flying swords it encountered. Chapter 576. Naruto increased his speed and used Mist Release to protect his body. Naruto turned into a ray of lightning. The dragon head attacked him. Flying Thunder God Jutsu. Naruto disappeared and was teleported to the other side while maintaining his speed. Yomi's voice came from all directions. Do you only know how to dodge? Naruto ignored him and continued to accelerate. Flying Thunder God Jutsu was a spatial ninjutsu. To some extent, it should be the fastest ninjutsu, because it could teleport to another place in an instant. But it was different from real speed. Teleportation did not change the kinetic energy of an object. But with the increase in speed, Naruto's body's kinetic energy also increased. What Naruto needed to do now was to stall for time, increase his speed to the maximum, and then launch his strongest attack. The second time to dodge teleportation. Naruto's speed could no longer be seen by the naked eye. At this time, his speed was even faster than Storm Wound's full speed. The third time to dodge teleportation. Naruto's speed was still increasing. The fourth time. The moment Naruto appeared, he slashed at the dragon head in front of him. An arc of lightning flashed, and the lightning was like a fog. Naruto's sword cut into the dragon head, and Kusunagi's sword moved around the dragon body, dragging a long line. The dragon body was cut in half from the middle. The puppet string was connected to the dragon body, and the next moment, the two halves of the dragon body were absorbed by Naruto into Preserved Egg's internal space. Preserved Egg felt the huge energy in the dragon body and was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. Big harvest, this one is comparable to the previous 10. One of the dragon heads was cut off. The other dragon heads had scarlet eyes, and chakra roared. Chakra was like a dark smoke. Rolling smoke. It attacked Naruto again. This time, there were no more dragon heads alone, but 2 in a group. The 2 dragons attacked Naruto together. And dozens of dragons came out of the magma again. Naruto dodged with Flying Thunder God Jutsu. He increased his speed and used Mist Release to protect his body. But this time, the dragon heads attacked fiercely, and it was difficult to find an aerial attack. Naruto had to attack when he was halfway through his acceleration. Naruto's sword only cut into the scales, and the sword couldn't move around the dragon's body. The sword was stuck in the scales. The dragon heads at the side attacked Naruto. When Naruto drew his sword, he was hit by the dragon heads. Danger! Multiple shadows. Naruto quickly formed hand seals, and in the next moment, thousands of Naruto were distributed in the cave. The dragon heads stopped. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Naruto summoned Ryuichi. Ghost technique. Dragon merged into Naruto's body. A pair of wings appeared behind Naruto. Naruto suddenly flapped his wings and increased his speed. Speed. This of to S22 to S22 to S. The dragon heads madly attacked the surrounding clones. In an instant, all of Naruto's clones were swept away. Only the flying sword clones with a real body were still struggling. On the other side, after Aster was swallowed into the demon's body, the purple light of the bell formed a phantom of a bell to protect Aster. But because Aster closed her eyes in fear, she didn't see this scene. While attacking Naruto, Morio was communicating with Aster at the same time. What are you afraid of? With that purple light, I can't merge with you. But is this really okay? You will see a lot of things in my body that you don't want to see. For example, in front of you, I will kill this person. What can you do about it? A kind-hearted person like you, who thinks from the standpoint of a human, will definitely feel heartache. Heartache, self-blame, and regret will always torture you. Is this really okay? Aster opened her eyes. She saw Naruto being chased by the demon. Aster's eyes widened. The illusion of death she saw and the scene in front of her completely overlapped. It wasn't a tentacle, nor a snake head, but a dragon head. In the illusion of death Aster saw, Naruto died in this scene. Tears once again flowed out like a fountain. It's all my fault. If it wasn't for me, Wang Liang wouldn't have regained control of his body. Naruto, you should leave. Why haven't you left yet? Wang Liang's voice sounded. Perhaps he wants to defeat me and save you. What an ignorant person. Just watch as I destroy him, then watch as I destroy this world. You can't do anything if you just watch. Aster's eyes were fixed on Naruto. Aster remembered a technique her mother used to protect her when she was a child to seal away the demon. It was a technique that only the Miko could use if she was determined to die. It was a technique that could affect spacetime. Aster's body lit up with white light. The scene in front of her eyes reversed. In the next moment, her consciousness appeared at the moment when Naruto carried her into the seal. Aster regained her senses and knew she had succeeded. She took off the bell on her body and carefully placed it on Naruto's body. Naruto, you must live. Aster released the bell and the purple light on her body disappeared. Wang Liang's power approached Aster and wrapped around her. Wang Liang's voice whispered in Aster's ears. You gave the bell away? That's it. That's a good choice. At least you won't feel pain anymore. Enter my body and reunite with your mother. Wang Liang's power completely submerged Aster. Aster's eyes were still looking at Naruto at the last moment. Inside the cave, a phantom of a bell appeared on Naruto's body. When the dragon head hit Naruto's body, it was blocked by the bell and could no longer cause damage to Naruto. Naruto was relieved. Things finally developed to this point. If he couldn't wait, Naruto was going to use Izanagi. Naruto wasn't worried about Aster. When the bell left Aster, the power sealed by the bell was also released. Next, it was Wang Liang's turn to be unlucky. 9 tails sealed the space. Preserved Egg hurriedly urged, "Hurry up. Take advantage of this good opportunity to harvest a wave of waves." Naruto also thought so. Next, it's time to go all out. The eye patch on the left eye was taken off. At this time, Naruto has a total of 3 eyes. 2 normal eyes. The right eye is the original fox eye, the left eye is the Kamui Mangekyo Sharingan. The other vertical eye is in the middle of the eyebrows. It's the fusion of the ghost sprite technique. The vertical eye is very strange. If you look carefully, you will see that it's 2 Sharingans overlapping. But the overlap is not complete, it looks like a double eye. Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan, Kamui. Naruto didn't use Kamui to directly hit the dragon head, but added Kamui's space tearing rule to Kusanagi sword. Naruto learned a new application of Kamui's rule, Space Blade. Flying Thunder God Jutsu. Naruto disappeared and appeared on the dragon's body. On the dragon's body, the word life under Naruto's feet was particularly conspicuous. This was left by Naruto when he was entangled with the opponent. There were also many left. The sword slashed down, this time there was no acceleration. Under the spatial rending law, the sword seemed to have penetrated nothing, and the long blade swept across the dragon's body. The dragon's body was cut. In Naruto's body, preserved Egg's eyes were shining, and he madly urged Naruto, "Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up! They are all great supplements. One more is a gain, one less is a loss." Chapter 577. After the bell was sent out. Inside Wang Liang's body, Wang Liang's voice sounded in Aster's ears. "Is that all? It's a good choice. Come and fuse with my body." Wang Liang's power invaded Aster's body. Aster's tears fell like rain. She replied with a crying voice, "That's all. If I knew it from the beginning, the villagers wouldn't have to sacrifice their lives. Mother, it's like this." The moment Aster came into contact with Wang Liang's power, she felt her mother's presence in Wang Liang's body. Aster thought of what Wang Liang said to her before. Miko and Wang Liang originally had the same physical body, and the so-called seal, it was the fusion of the two. Now it seemed that Wang Liang wasn't lying. A bright light lit up inside Wang Liang's body. The light emitted a holy aura that was completely different from Wang Liang's aura. It was quiet, peaceful, warm, and loving. Aster stared blankly at the light, and the tears in her eyes stopped. "Mother." The light shone on Aster's body, and the voice of the previous generation's Maitreya sounded in Aster's ears. "Aster, I wanted you to live a peaceful life." At the same time, an illusion appeared in front of Aster's eyes. This time it wasn't an illusion of death. The scene was in the temple, and the person inside was her mother. Mother Maitreya was sitting on the throne of the temple, and the people of the temple were kneeling below. Mother Maitreya said, "You're not allowed to teach Aster any techniques other than the sealing technique." The people kneeling on the ground were frightened. This mission," Mother replied. "With Aster's power, if she's not careful, she'll become a threat that surpasses Wang Liang. Now, that child can't control this power. Then simply use this stone to suppress this power. The power awakened because of death, and the villagers' lives will be used to suppress it." With the illusion, Aster received all the information about the bell at the same time. He knew that the transparent bell that wouldn't ring was made from the stone that his mother had told him about. It was also blessed with the power of the Maitreya. The purpose was to seal her. Her power would awaken when she was in danger. At this time, in order to strengthen the seal, the bell would devour the lives of the people around her. The illusion disappeared, and Maitreya came out of the light and hugged Aster. Mother, I even tried to protect you. I can't even trust you. Do you hate me?" He felt the warmth of his mother's embrace and the familiar aura. Aster's tears, which had just stopped, gushed out again. "No, Mother." Aster loves Mother the most. The image of Maitreya disappeared. Aster looked at her mother's final smile and wiped her tears. He closed his eyes and formed a seal with his hands. In the illusion just now, Aster knew the truth about the bell. At the same time, he also received all the memories of the previous generations which, his mother. There was love for her, as well as all the witchcraft that the witch had mastered. Mother. Aster already knows how to use this power. Open. Chakra gathered energy within her body, and the laws materialized on the surface of her body, forming runes. A halo appeared above Aster's head. At the same time, outside the Wang Liang's body, Naruto, who was planning to harvest the Wang Liang, once again encountered a crisis. After Naruto cut off a tentacle with a dragon's head, the rest of the dragon's heads began to fuse together. For a time, the dragon's head became thicker and thicker, and the lines on it became more and more complicated. Chakra, which was previously pitch black like smoke, turned into a substance after the dragon's head fused together. It turned into scales with runes attached to the dragon's body. Naruto used the blade of the void again. But the blade and the dragon's body collided, and a thunderous explosion sounded. There was also the sound of metal colliding and friction. The blade of the void that Naruto had high hopes for was blocked. The mystic dragon became stronger again. At this time, Preserved Egg was no longer greedy for the monster's body, and his playful expression also disappeared. At this moment, there was only seriousness. "It's very dangerous. Do you want to leave?" Naruto refused. "I can't leave." According to the development of the original world, the next step is to drag Aster out of the Wangliang's body. Then use the Rasengan that fused with the witch's power to defeat the monster. After the dragon's head converged into one, it opened its mouth to bite Naruto. The purple bell's shadow covered Naruto. The mystic dragon's teeth bit on the bell, and cracks appeared on the surface of the shadow. Such a change surprised Naruto. It stands to reason that with the bell, the monster can't hurt Naruto. But now, the bell doesn't seem to be able to last long. What's going on? Could it be that because the one who used the bell was not the witch, so the bell became weaker? After Preserved Egg heard that Naruto decided to stay, he suggested, "If you want to continue to stay here, you can only use Izanagi to ensure your safety." Naruto replied, "That's what I think too." Naruto didn't hesitate, and he made a hand seal. "Izanagi. Record his state." Creak. Several cracks appeared on the bell's shadow made of energy again. After opening Izanagi, Naruto won't die before the end of Izanagi. But it's only before the end of Izanagi. Flying Thunder God Technique. Naruto planned to go out from the mystic dragon's mouth, but unexpectedly, the Flying Thunder God technique failed. Under the Sharingan, the surrounding space became extremely unstable under the mystic dragon's berserk chakra. Now, even if Naruto wanted to leave, it would be difficult. Naruto turned his head to look at the altar, where the sealing circle was. He couldn't help but say in his heart, "Aster, Aster, you have to hurry up." Perhaps it heard Naruto's prayer. The hole on the altar lit up with purple light. The color and aura were very similar to the bell that protected Naruto. Aster's ability awakened. The mystic dragon's mouth on the bell opened with the light, and at the same time, it let out a heart-wrenching roar. The opportunity is here. Naruto quickly accelerated to escape from the cage. In Morio's body, Aster opened her eyes. The solemn Aster raised her hand and touched the light beside her. Up until now, there have been so many Miko. Now, even their voices when they were young can be clearly heard. Is that so? How time flies. Aster's power erupted, illuminating Morio's body. At this time, Morio also understood. Feeling the pain of his body being torn apart, Morio's hoarse voice trembled. So that's how it is, so the bell's function is to seal your power. Aster was expressionless. Let's stop here. Naruto, can you hear me? From now on, we will live in the future world. This is my fate. Aster recalled what Naruto said to her. As long as I'm here, you won't die. I will protect you. Demons and monsters are nothing. Those words were said by Naruto when he carried her into the place where Morio was sealed. Naruto, you big liar. Aster helplessly closed her eyes. Now, Morio, let's disappear together. Aster raised her hands. She decided to perish together with Morio. This way, there will be no more Morio in the future world. A drop of tear flowed out from the corner of Aster's closed eyes. In this world, the only thing that made her feel reluctant was the person who broke into her world called Naruto. She didn't know when it started, but that person gave her a different feeling. That feeling was like a very important person in her life. However, that person no longer belonged to her. Aster continued to release her power outside her body. However, at this moment, a bell rang. Ding-ling. Her power was suppressed back into her body. Aster opened her eyes in panic and saw Naruto with a pair of wings on his back and long hair flowing like streamers. Naruto grabbed her hand. Wipe your tears, you're much more beautiful when you smile than when you cry. Aster opened her eyes wide. Naruto. Naruto smiled. I'll take you out, then we'll work together to destroy the monster. The wings behind Naruto flapped, and he took Aster into the sky. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.